One more wine, one more whiskey, and we just kept the car in park and dim the headlights so we see the stars. Let them tell us where we should start. And I'm scared as hell because there's no way to know how this goes. But I can't help but say I promise to give you my all. But it might break me. It might break me, break me. It might break me, break me. It might break me down. I won't let you down. But it might break me, break me. It might break me, break me. It might break me down. It might break me. It might break me. It might break me. It might break me down. But it might break me. But it might break me. It might break me. It might break me down. But it might break me. The sight of you, it makes me dizzy. And when you're gone, I miss your face. Tonight I'll meet you in our favorite place. And just can't let this wait one more day. But I'm scared as hell, and there's just no way to know how this goes. And I can't help but say, trusting why you are so beautiful. But it might break me. It might break me, break me. It might break me, break me. It might break me down. I won't let you down. But it might break me. I remember car rides, small fights, conversations all night. I never saw you as anything more than a friend, but now I see you in a new light. We're getting older. There's a sparkle in your eyes that wasn't there before. You give me butterflies. It makes me wonder if there could be something more. We were only kids when we first met. Now let's discover what we haven't yet. I don't wanna wonder what could have been. So baby, take my hand and let my love.
The scuffle, maybe a final opportune moment to where the Tracer 1v1 is going to be punished, falling off the map, even getting the melee. At least that goes to your full spot, full charge. Now your scrim. Just barely make it out in the fight on the point. No recall. You're absolutely
Up at like 100% better most of the time. Still waiting on this nano. I mean, you know,
and the poor Jay with his death has actually fully seen the play come in, and well, it's done what you thought it would. Absolutely nothing, and that's the unfortunate matter. We'll remember.
Not
Yeah,
ideal.
so let's take a second to look at the Tracer statistics, though. There is a significant amount of time difference, but 18 eliminations, 8k damage, 6 ultimates used. That is a lot. That's three mines, maybe on both attack and defense. Playing for 11 minutes and 5 seconds compared to 15, you're equal, if not better than Habit. And I think that's not only showing a different play style, but a different understanding of how you're wanting to play that Eva. Hatu still being able to get in that consistent damage. Look at the final blows per 10, 8.1 more than Habit. Now going back off the point, the top absolute darkness, stay up. Long staggered fight as Loser
rally because they know that it's coming at some point here.
But look, the bomb is what makes the difference, Rudy. It's the bomb.
Rocket shots. Now everybody's kind of out, you know, separated.
Running through the last of my thoughts, standing on the edge of my time. Everything I know will be gone in a minute, and that's alright. Running through the last of my thoughts, standing on the edge of my time. Everything I know will be gone in a minute, and that's alright. Alright, 'cause I'm free than I've ever been before. Yeah. Everything I know will be gone in a minute.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends and family beyond the binary, hello and welcome to Week 2, Day 6 of OWEX EU. My name is Warren Jugglegod Hammond, joined on the mic today by User Intel. How are you doing bright and early this morning over here across the pond?
Well, I've got to say, though the food may not be as greasy, the scene has just been as competitive within the Overwatch expansive. We've seen teams come and go, forfeit, and can prosper forward. And honestly, I've got to say, it's been quite interesting to see a lot of the talent. We've seen people from kind of the lower regions of the ELO, somewhere in gold to plat, and then we see a lot of people who have tons of experience within contenders, and I think that's quite interesting to see, especially because going in to this next match, our teams, name not given, and I want to say SIUUUU, the eyes, yeah, the eyes in it, so my English is terrible. It's still very quite interesting to see how they're going to go, because you may recognize some of these players. Some have been playing on teams that have been shown within ELO Hell / Get Good before, and some others have been in contenders.
Yeah, that's very true. Lots of familiar names here. Name not given has one ringer in today, Nutty Nanta, who I have cast before in several tournaments, so glad to see a familiar face there. Of course, we've got Horax on the side of CU as well, an excellent player there. And I'm excited to see what these two teams are gonna bring today.
I definitely would have to 100% agree with that sentiment, especially because it's almost like a title weight match. I see every match having some very big significance on how you're going in. And I think, though the information from Name Not Given is as strong for SIUUUU, I definitely feel that if they want to prove they can continue to move forward in this series and fight other teams, they have to be people who have had experience within the contenders region, who have already struggled and fought tooth and nail to try to go to the top, may not have made it, but they still have that experience. That's something that's very vital when it comes to Overwatch competitiveness.
It certainly is. That previous experience, very, very useful. Another interesting little bit of information about Name Not Given. Both Mup and Jam Jam were on the same team, Altera Horizon, which is no stranger to top-level competition.
You make an amazing point, but just to put that to a side for a little bit, the biggest part of the competition is going to be the first map, which will set the momentum throughout the entire series. That more specifically is going to be Nepal, one of the more unpopular control points, I'd say, next to Ilios. I think people really have been enjoying Busan and Lijiang Tower. But, I gotta say, this is going to be quite interesting, Mr. Juggle God. This is really in nobody's comfort zone, so I definitely feel it's going to be a lot of adaptations.
I think that's a good point, and adaptation really is the name of the game in Overwatch. You have to be constantly adapting, not only your playstyle, but potentially your team composition as well. But let's move to predictions, shall we? Because we have a prediction pool in chat going. So, we can, get those predictions in so we can see who you think is going to come out on top today in this game and the following one as well. So, getting that prediction up and running just now in chat, so be on the lookout for it.
I definitely think those predictions are going to matter. You get your channel points, but also, how cool it feels just to be saying, I'm right and you're wrong? That's something that I hold close to my heart.
Absolutely. It is nice to be one of the voices that says, haha, I was the one who saw how this was going to go. Look at the big brain on me, not like you smooth brain losers over there.
Very cleverly, but look at this, Mr. Jungle God. Going in, we're on to Village. I think this is the best point to be showing how the maps are going to be going further. Village is one of those stereotypical brawl maps that I think a lot of teams feel that comfort on. Already, you're seeing very similar, though that is a monkey, and it may switch around. It's a very fast point to be going back and forth on. It does look like SIUUUU is more in favor of the Wrecking Ball strategy, which I definitely like to see. Standard is making that point a big hot box just to try to stop anyone from walking in, but with a lot of poke and a lot of CC, you can definitely move your way in. So it's who's going to win, very quick dive or kind of more of a pokey split off Wrecking Ball comp.
Yeah, this is very interesting. Neither team opted for the standard brawl composition. It's gonna be a very interesting match. to start out here. We've got a lot of action already starting over near the Mega Health Pack. There's a Tracer duel between Yuki and Ace, and it's gonna go the way of Yuki. Mupp also finds a pick onto Apple, so Name Not Given starting out very strong here. Looks like the dive composition gonna come away a little bit ahead.
They just have a easier time coordinating onto their opponents. Also, Yuki winning out on that Tracer 1v1 was absolutely phenomenal, just to kind of set this pace. Though we do see Shu continuing to move back onto the point. They have control, but it's for how long, especially with this nano boost.
Yeah, this nano boost that's going to go on to A1V2 is going to be absolutely tremendous. But both Mupp and Nutty Nantha are out of the fight now, so this is going to be now SIUUUU's fight to lose. The barrage comes in, but Captain Crash is there to take them out of the sky relatively quickly, but it's all going to be for naught, as SIUUUU is going to come away with this first map control.
A beautiful use of their own mobility, making sure that they took out Mupp very early in that fight. They're pretty much playing the composition as you're supposed to. Very split, very wide open, so Name Not Given cannot have a single target to dive on, and that's going to be more prevalent as the match goes on. This is where the big issues come. They have to go through this tiny choke point while Ace is being as annoying as possible.
Ooh, Ace tries to throw a pulse bomb out, but Jam Jam is successful with the eat. Apples goes in for a pile driver. They eat the business end of an anti-nade though, but it's not going to matter because Mupp is going to be removed from the fight. But a couple of picks in favor of Name Not Given means that they can still push, especially with the Primal Rage online as well. Self-destruct coming in from Tex, it's not going to find anybody, and the res will be successful onto Alpha, who pops that sound barrier right away. Captain Crash is going to follow shortly after that, but already we've got 50% on the board for SIUUUU, and they're showing no signs of giving up this momentum at all.
It's a big problem of just trying to find any security. Name Not Given. They have ultimates, they're using it, though the blade finally finds one. What matters most is that Shu did not have any room to split up. We saw Name Not Given immediately start to walk onto them. Now they're switching up their competition to have that adaptation. The punishment of the aggression was very close, and it's all up to Yuki, who found those picks and made sure to secure that team fight. That's pretty much a big play that you're always going to be looking for. What matters now is not only ultimates versus ultimates, but rather who's going to take those first engage. These compositions are very similar, but one is a lot more diving.
Yeah, that is very true. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Yuki goes in for a very aggressive play with the nano boost committed to them, but is forced to recall back to the point. Now with only half of their health or less, they're going to dive back in. Trying to find this duel with Ace once again. Apples commits the minefield on the point, and that's going to make Yuki dive away from it as quickly as possible. Jam Jam is going to be demeched as well, so Name Not Given looking a little worse for wear right now as the point has slipped in favor of SIUUUU.
I gotta say, Name Not Given, they're definitely running an interesting strategy where they put a lot of their resources into Yuki. It's more prevalent in that last fight where they give the nano, Yuki tries to go in, instantly gets punished, has no room to go out. That's really not gonna work when SIUUUU are just working as a unit.
Yeah, they're working as a unit very, very well. We've seen them, collapse onto the appropriate targets all at once, and that's the kind of coordination that you need with these teams. Jix coming in with a couple of kills on the legs. They're going to get very close to their tac visor. That could seal the deal here. They might not even need it, though. But they are approaching 99% on the board, and nobody from Name Not Given touches.
It's just unfortunate. Their competition not set up to be able to touch that point. It doesn't really have a clear objective at times. But I do want to point out that Alpha did die to that bomb by just peeking over the bridge for like a millisecond, and I just find that absolutely hilarious. That's something going into a montage, just to point out. Either way, Name Not Given were not able to adapt as quickly as they wanted to. Understandably, the Hog's able to hook people, but they're very smooth brain. They're like very fast around it. Shu is able to kind of juke you around, and going into this next push, it seems they're more reliant on trying to be more stabilized rather than pushing out, trying to go for an objective. Shu, though, they might not have too much of an issue as long as they don't get hit by any rush.
Yeah, that is very true, but the rush is going to be on the menu today for Name Not Given. Ace looking for a slam, and they get one on the Captain Crash. Jam Jam follows shortly thereafter, and Ace is proving to be just that, an ace for this CU side. My God, they got 4 kills in that fight?
That's a team kill, and the point didn't even unlock. That's absolutely impressive. I was gonna say amazing, but impressive is more of the word, and that's either coordination or focus. Doomfist is not as strong as he used to be, but it's still amazing to see this pressure coming out. Is able to open up the fight. The bigger problem is now name's not given. They have to try and break through. The Doomfist has so much room to set up and to escape.
Yeah, there's so much potential for that character. A1B2 goes down very low, and with your main tank with that, in that kind of a predicament, things are going to be tough. But Nutty Nanta is able to remove Ace from the fight, and that's going to leave a lot of room for Name Not Given to be able to push in now. Coalescence was committed by Muppa as well. That's going to help secure the kill onto Kex as well, who just about had that self-destruct online. Alpha now pops the Transcendence to keep their team alive and well on point, as the kill still coming in favor of CU.
You know, anytime someone in your comp games is telling you to touch that point, show this clip. This is the reason why you don't touch that point. You give them a bit of tick percentage. Though they didn't capture it, they still almost got a shoe. They wait their time, they build up the ultimates, they get that Transcendence up, and then they engage in. Name Not Given had nothing to go up against it. They could not go aggressive in fear of Ace just punching them dead in the face. And now look, they're trying to stagger you. How rude!
Rude indeed, but Ace says, no matter what, I'm going in. They get a little bit of value there, a little bit of old charge as well. Now they've got that Meteor Strike ready to go at the push of a button. Apples goes in for a nice engagement right there. A1B2 tries to find a pile driver as well, but unable to get really much value with it. Ace now looking for an engagement here. They found the Moira, but she uses that fade to get away from the danger, but only for a moment. Ace still had their number. Gonna come in with a Meteor Strike to the Nutty Nanta as well, right before they fall. And now, things are really looking good for CU. Name Not Given going down very low, and with Apples committing the minefield as well, things are looking pretty tough for Name Not Given. Self-destruct clears away some of the mines, but it's not gonna matter because the point is clear of Name Not Given, and CU goes up 1-0.
CU had such a beautiful understanding of the Wrecking Ball composition, especially when it comes to these engagements. We never saw them truly stumble, and you know, we even got to see a little statistics on the bottom right of Ace. And I gotta say, Ace had an amazing performance kind of in the later run. And that's pretty much what the Doomfist is supposed to be doing. Take these engagements, get these punches in. You're supposed to be Muhammad Ali, and you are doing it to the greatest extent. Now, Shu, they're going to be leading a little bit closer into the series, and we do actually have a little bit more of statistics. It's going to be your favorite person, the one who shot you in the face and you have a revenge on. Though Ace does not have like star levels of eliminations, I do want to point out that's not what matters. It more matters on the fact that those final blows are 7. The deaths are 2, so Ace, these fights were slow, but Ace was making sure to stay alive and get these picks, and I think that's very a fundamental that a lot of DPS sometimes struggle in, especially when you're playing a hyper-aggressive character like Doomfist.
Yeah, and hyper-aggressive really is the word that you have to put to Doomfist, because, you know, that hero is very much boom or bust, right? And we definitely saw him go boom in that last map. Like you said, only 8 kills on the board, but I mean, you get the right kills at the right time, and that's all you need to do. I mean, you know, tremendously, 4 of those kills came in that very first engagement, and honestly, I feel like it just took the wind out of the sails of Name Not Given.
It's definitely going to be very unmotivating when you're walking out and then instantly a Doomfist is punching you in the face. You know, Chips are sitting down with some Mito drinking a nice cold one, and they're laughing at you saying, look, he's good. We promise. Either way, I definitely feel this is a very good insight to how both of these teams are playing. I'm very much feeling that Name Not Given are not very comfortable on these very split up Wrecking Ball competitions, especially since they just could not find their own footing going up against Shu. This may be a problem later on, but I think this is where map picks are going to be highly useful. This is where you start dodging any map that the Wrecking Ball composition is very good on. You kind of want to go into that neutral sense now.
Yeah, you certainly do, and I can't think of a better place for this team to go than King's Row. I think that is probably one of the more ideal locales for this next map, but I should check and see what the map order is, as a matter of fact, because let's see here. We're gonna be so it's gonna be control map hybrid. So Kings Row is on the board next. It could go a number of different ways though, but I imagine we're gonna be skipping Numbani.
I'm definitely gonna have to agree in that sense. Numbani just does not work out right now. A lot of teams are very uncomfortable on that map. Some people even dislike it, though they can be wrong. It's okay. Regardless, I do agree. Kings Row is a very good idea. It is a very powerful map to want to go on. A lot of teams run it. It's very famous to that brawl. However, it does seem they are going to be looking a little bit more confident when it comes down to Rialto of all points, which is kind of curious. This is a very good Wrecking Ball map, and you know, the words that I have to say, it's just the Wrecking Ball composition is really good, and yes, you do have that opportunity for a lot of bunker and a lot of slow type of compositions to where Shu will not have the mobility as they want. We're at a level where those milliseconds in these fights are going to matter, so name not given, they have to try a lot harder if they want to be able to stop Shu.
Yeah, that is certainly true. Shu is on a tear right now, and as we head into Rialto, I think that, yeah, this is maybe not the ideal pick, but there's a reason, you know, for instance, that I'm in the casting booth and not in the game at this moment, and that is because of my prowess in it. And
just say
these
SR.
teams, they know, they, yes, the SR, exactly, to put a very fine point on it. SR is definitely one of the reasons. But you know, name not given, they know their team, they know their strengths, and perhaps this is one of their favorite maps to put up.
Ah, my goodness. It is going to be one I think that the smallest detail is definitely going to matter. Rialto, I always feel you have a really good chance of pushing it to second point if you're at a good understanding and you're feeling fine. I think that second point is by far the hardest part. We're just gonna have to see, do they know what they're running? It is that double bubble, quite yes, and it has a lot of good resources to be able to move in, be able to peel out. You got the Brigida. Everything's looking like it has a good sustainability and good structure, though Nutty's not going to be having a lot of damage overall. It's going to matter, can Shu find those isolations, be able to dive in, work as needed, as they've been doing for the entire of the series.
Yeah, that is an excellent point. They have done a phenomenal job so far, especially taking lots of different angles to keep name not given really on their toes. We've got a very weak backline in terms of healing potential, but not in terms of damage. SIUUUU's got to be really looking to get picks fast and efficiently here with this kind of composition.
It's a lot of setup time. However, during these moments, we're already seeing Captain go dangerously low. It's only lucky that Jinx is gone, but Ace is set up. That's the problem.
Yeah, name not given, really showing that maybe they've got the composition to put a stop to what Shu has been throwing at them as the picks keep coming in favor of name not given. They're taking it slow as well. They're doing this very methodically, getting each of these picks one at a time, which is exactly what you want to see with a double bubble composition like this.
Yeah, the bigger problem is they're in the enemy's lines, and they're not in any opportunity to truly sustain. I mean, Apples, yes, on the Roadhog. Their entire point is just to get that payload percentage. Not everybody's going to be able to go out, though they find that Mercy. It's a big plus, giving up a lot of space, and you've given Ace enough room to find your Ana.
Oh no, but Alpha going down removed that Discord orb from the equation for SIUUUU. But they still seem to be doing what they need to do as Apples finds a whole hog kill onto A1B too. As well as Yuki, so this chart is going to start moving under their protection, especially after that barrage from Ace.
You know, that's the problem with splitting your attention for even a second. We saw them try to take out Apples. We saw them put a lot of resource in. What does Apples do? Come back in, hit you with the whole hog. Now you try to contest that point with the Nether Monkey, and you don't even have any room. It's either swim or, I don't really sink or swim kind of aspect. And it just seems that A1 is looking to swim. However, not being able to find anything. That's the unfortunate part. A lot of this time is just going into stalling that payload, seeing what they can get out of this push. And the bigger problem comes is that Shu have the respawn advantage. They're going to be able to come in. They're going to be building up these ultimates just as fast as you are being able to use them. However, look at this. They're having an amazing hold so far.
Yeah, they really are. Captain Crash has popped the rally as well, and that's going to give Name Not Given a lot of staying power. But Jix is about to get this blade online, and with a Mercy damage boost behind it, it can be absolutely devastating. Just about as devastating as a nano boosted blade as well. Jix coming in now looking for some opportunities, but Hex is going to find the Yuki with the minefield right before they're removed from the fight. Name Not Given, though, looking a little worse for wear at the moment, as this point is about, or this part rather, is about to get underway once again. Take that back. Couple of kills coming in favor of them, though.
Yeah, I just love the fact that Name's Not Given basically said, if you want this point, you have to fight us for it. You may have captured it, but that does not mean the fight is over. That does not mean we're going to give you space to set up and get ready for the next fight. We're just going to be as annoying as possible. Even, look, they force him off the Wrecking Ball. That's basically what you're looking for. The only problem is now is that Name's Not Given. They kind of stagger the sums a little. Mup goes in a little bit, a little too far, though. They get the res out. Let's see how this next fight goes in. Will this grab be massive? I'm hoping so.
Yeah, it certainly has the potential to be. Bob has been committed to the fight, but Nutty Nanza is removed. Now the blade is online and it's trying to do damage. But it's not finding too much, but it doesn't matter because the rest of the team is there on cleanup duty. And with the whole hog now underway, this cart is going to get, dare I say, through point 2 on this push.
It doesn't matter how many ultimates that they use. They're building it up just as fast. But look at that. That pick was absolutely massive. And the grab, you know, I definitely like that grab.
Was a whiff.
It wasn't necessarily a whiff. It was just looking to catch somebody out. The unfortunate part is they couldn't touch that point, which was, you know, they were hoping to get that pick early. And, well, now A1 using that Primal just has to escape there, not being able to slow down the momentum. And I may not know what's going in the mind of Jinx. Maybe a little bit of that arcane is kind of dripping into the show. But Name's Not Given. I definitely feel this is now a moment where you kind of need to stabilize, figure out what you want to do.
Yeah, it certainly is, and stabilize they are trying to do, but with Nutty Nanza going down on that Echo, it's going to make things a lot more difficult. Nano Boost now committed onto A1B2, but it expires before they're really able to get a good engagement, and with Jix on the Bastion, they are just burst down almost immediately.
Everybody on the side of SIUUUU is a threat. The tanks are two very big, bulky characters that have a lot of sustain over time. Aces in the air. Jinx, you can't even focus down the Bastion as much as you want to when they get so many people to body block. Though look, respawns are now in favor.
Ooh, the respawns are in favor now of Name Not Given, but a nice pulse bomb comes in to end the reign of Jix from the sidelines. Yuki really being the hero that they need, but it's not going to be enough as the point is going to be captured very shortly by SIUUUU unless some hero plays can come out from Name Not Given. Jam Jam is demeched, and that's going to mean a lot less damage mitigation in the books, and with 2:24 on the clock, SIUUUU completes third point.
Man, just didn't have the ability to get those respawns as an advantage. You know, those are one of the moments where you're really hoping that, you know, let's die kind of in sync. One person touches the point, someone else will then touch quite after. Unfortunately, they were just not able to get it in. 2 minutes and 24 seconds is nothing to sneeze at. Any time bank is a time bank, even if it's like less than a minute. And that's what SIUUUU are basically going to be focusing on. Name Not Given are having a lot of big problems. I think when it comes to just stabilizing, I think that's the easiest way to say it. I don't think necessarily it's one player's not playing well, one player's out of position. It's just that they're not getting opportunities to set up and do what they want to do. SIUUUU have just been changing up the styles the moment Name get that second to adapt. I mean, running out on the Bastion is not something that you just wake up and say, I want to do that. That's a spur on the moment saying, can I go Bastion? Can I go Bastion? And then your team just doesn't listen to you. You go Bastion. Then they're like, why do we have a Bastion? It's a very funny moment, but it's a moment to show the Les that they are comfortable messing with your mind. They don't need to run the Wrecking Ball. They can run other things. They can even run unconventional ideals. And it works out. Name Not Given, they're going to need to step their game up, put that hydraulics into turbo mode, especially if you want to be able to stop this composition, which is highly pokey and very good at flanking.
Yeah, it certainly is. You know, you mentioned SIUUUU coming out with very interesting compositions, the Bastion, but what really caught my eye was the fact that SIUUUU went to a double off-tank composition. They were rocking the Diva Roadhog, which is a very interesting composition. Nice little bit of mechanics there from Nutty Nantha on that concussive blast jump, getting them into a prime position.
It kind of had to be, or else that would have gone into a month. Promise you that. The impressive part is the fact that they know where Apples is. They're putting a lot of pressure, stopping Apples from getting any space to set up. Shoo, they're now a little bit more uncomfortable. They've lost one, and now they're basically inside their enemy's territory.
Yeah, and with Apples going down as well, that's going to signal the end of this defense for SIUUUU. They're going to have to back up and really try and regroup. They are going to get a second fight here, though, which is the silver lining of this fight loss.
It's a lot of space, SIUUUU. Taking their time, definitely what you're looking out for. This is pretty much on the pressure of Jam Jam and A1 to set the pace. It's up to them to be able to get these little mini picks, as I'd like to say. Though MIP coming back into the fight is absolutely massive. The problem is they're not walking on you.
Yeah, exactly. And when someone like a Roadhog is walking on you, that is a lot of trouble. Nutty Nantha tries to get a concussive blast in and takes out their doppelganger on the other side, Ace. But just similarly, Apples has removed A1, B1, or B2. SIUUUU definitely has control over this card again, and name not given, gonna have to back off and try again.
Man, look at this. Apple's even using the emote solely to... This is a Surefour moment. I haven't seen this in so long, but name not given. They're not taking the advantages that they're being given on a silver platter at times. Fundamentally, the tanks are looking, for the opposite. That hook, beautiful too, but
wow.
They're not being able to set up.
And look at this. Now we have a nano boost committed onto Apples as well. That whole hog just gonna deal so much damage, and Jix from the backline as well, finding value. And that was a tremendous hold coming out from SIUUUU. Now there's less than a minute and a half on the clock for name not given to try and complete this point, but they have really run into a lot of problems here.
That's a bite your tongue type of moment. Apples was incredibly low, still managed to get a few more seconds off on the whole hog. That's the point where name not given, they're not getting anything that they want. I mean, Ace is going to die, but how much is that going to impact this fight? Are you going to be starting to use your ults before the fight can happen? Are your tanks going to start looking for these more aggressive picks, these hooks, these advantages? Well, we just have to see if this copy is the point. It seems teabagging Apples was the main objective.
Yes, and with that objective accomplished, they move on to the next one. Nutty Nantha releases a Riptire, but it's not going to find any value. Going to be taken off on the side of the wall. And now, name not given, looking like they have picked up the pace and are going to be able to push through point one. But A1, B2 has gone down very low. In fact, they are removed from the fight, and SIUUUU might actually come away with the hold here at the 11th hour.
Honestly, you say 11th, I say it's still like 9 in the morning for them. They just woke up, they're moving out, especially since name not given, they're still trying to wake up a little. The usage of their ultimates were not bad, they were a little bit more questionable, especially just the way that they're trying to move forward and the way that they're wanting to take out SIUUUU. SIUUUU with respawns, they can touch, and now you have to walk into the deadly molten core. The Play-Doh's all around, and honestly, it's not consumable for miners.
No, it's not, and that is unfortunate for name not given. They gave it their all, but they came up short this time. SIUUUU is posting a blistering time on attack and a formidable defense to be reckoned with. They're going to go up 2-0 in this first of 3 series.
There's a lot of moments where we can definitely say this was Apple's shining day. Just the Roadhog play, these hooks were absolutely phenomenal, but the coordination between Apples and the rest of their team has just been able to make sure that they are kind of winning these fights. And that type of moment, calling in the nano, walking, using the whole hog, that's absolutely phenomenal. I even want to point out a little bit more onto this as we get the Roadhog statistics up. Bam! Producers, show that on the screen. That's so talented to be able to bring up. Love it. Though the time is on the difference, there have been moments where we've seen teams, compete against us. I just want to point out how of a disparity there is. Even if that damage is very similar, that's not what matters. Road 16.4 final blows per 10. Do you know how hard that is to get consistently when you have a Wrecking Ball and other dive-like heroes on your team?
Yeah, yeah. To keep your head cool in that moment and to be able to post those kinds of numbers, absolutely tremendous. And the saying goes, an apple a day keeps the doctor away, but an apple a day is going to keep name not given away as well. At least away from a win in the scoreline. Tremendous stats coming out from apples.
I definitely have to say it's more of, apple day keeps the doctor away. Well, this apple's keeping everyone away. This is a toxicity living inside of it. But my goodness, Shogo, we're already at match point, and I've got to say it's an impressive showcase so far.
It has been. SIUUUU really coming alive here and just dominating on Rialto. Name not given. That was their map choice, and to go down that hard on their map choice, it's got to sting. This next pick has got to be on the mark. Otherwise, this matchup is over.
Definitely had to agree. Our next map is chosen, but you'll have to find out because we'll be right back after this quick break.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the broadcast. We've got the exciting conclusion of this matchup coming right your way. CU is up 2-0 over Name Not Given. They're gonna see if they can put the nail in the coffin in the map, everybody's favorite, Kings Row.
Of all the maps to be going in Kings Row, the least surprising, I definitely have to
Yes.
feel. We gave this sentiment earlier, just on the idea that Brawl has possibly the last chance going up against you. I definitely feel this is going to be the make it or break it map, not only because it is match point, so one more win onto Shu means that they will finish out the series 3-0, but Name Not Given, if they want to be able to bring momentum back in their own favor, you gotta either have a good close hold on this or be able to dominate, but that's a little bit more unrealistic. We did get a sub, though, during the break. No more apples. I'm very sad faced, though we do get Nevix. Nevix not bad,
Yes.
but I just think apple's a little more juicier.
Yeah, especially if you get like a Golden Delicious or something, a really nice juicy brand of apple there. But Nevix is in, and I have to imagine that this signals some kind of fundamental shift in the makeup of this team. In terms of the composition that we're going to see coming out. So maybe Nevix is being brought in for Brawl specialization.
It might be, especially since we saw a lot of more sporadic and on-the-spot type of switches. Definitely feel a lot more security and, understanding is basically going to come back in. There's not going to be moments where we're looking at their compositions, where we're saying, why would you run this? What is this kind of benefiting you for? Moreover, we're going to start understanding. We're going to say, oh, they're running that. That makes sense. We know, and I feel we're gonna the viewers and especially us are gonna have an easier understanding. Though I haven't been lost at all. I'm never wrong. Either way.
No, that is true. And I've got to tell you, all of the color casters I have casted with in the last day or so have made brilliant predictions, and so I have faith in you as well, user Intel, to carry on that tradition.
Oh, faith. Truly one we all hold close. I'm having faith that maybe we won't see just a stereotypical brawl with the Cassidy and May. Something about just these teams and what this map is, of all things, does not feel like it's going to be running out on something as stereotypical as that. I'm definitely expecting some big or at least small changes. We always talk about it. Kings Row. You move in, simple streets, everything is so closed in, but I feel a lot of teams don't realize how much changes you can really run in. We're already seeing a little bit of teasers of it as Shu kind of showing off a little weird things, though I am not one man to fall for smoke and mirrors. Name Not Given, though. They are walking out on a composition that has caught me completely off guard. This is something that I definitely feel would not something that you immediately think off your head. You're always saying, well, we need that Lucio to speed boost around. Why are we running a break for the defensive? We have a Genji. How much usage is that going to be? This is a moment. No, they're running out on the Bastion. Okay, smoke and mirrors, I guess, is true.
Yeah, this is very interesting. Got fascinating compositions on both sides. We've got the space jam. Oh, look at this charge in on Jix. That was absolutely tremendous. Booga giving the old 1-2 to Jix, getting him with the funny charge from the backline.
I'm not even gonna lie to you. That's a moment where I'd be toxic. It's not a good thing, but that was such a cool and out of the moment situation. You never. I mean, yes, the Baptiste Alpha did get hit by it, but just the confidence from Booga. Go in, charge. I'm not gonna get countered. Whatever. I'm just gonna go in now and shoot. They're angry. They're going on to the Pharah, hoping to get some pokes, but without a mercy, already punished. It's just not looking that good.
Yeah, this has been a tremendous defense so far for Name Not Given. They are really coming out, firing on all cylinders right now. Horax trying to boop a member of Name Not Given into an inappropriate position for them to be in, but they are unsuccessful as Name Not Given still holding very strong. Mayball comes out from Ace to try and alleviate some of the pressure coming on to SIUUUU, and the successful is Nutty Nance is taken out of the fight. Shatter comes in from Booga, is not going to find too much. but Mup is there with some of the cleanup on the fake Nevix. So this hold might be going well once again for Name Not Given.
There's a lot of confidence being put into Jinx using this Bastion to hopefully break down their shield. But they have been giving both Captain and Mup so much ult charge. I mean, Mup was able to build Rally as fast as that Nano came out. And Rally is so hard to build if you're not consistently in this fight, so that means a lot. Now look at Bugha going against for the charge.
Again he goes for the charge. This time he doesn't find anything, but instead Jinx is going to find success with that tank configuration Bastion. They're going to get 2 kills out of it, and now the defense is collapsing for Name Not Given, and SIUUUU is going to start their march through the streets of King's Row.
Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, I saw you walking up the stairs, Bugha. It's not going to work again. It's one of those moments where it's high action gameplay. They definitely saw Bugha going up, and well, they had the ultimates to start punishing Name Not Given for not working as needed as they did before. And now they have to be more onto the defensive, though they have this Wrecking Ball. The Blizzard is the engagement tool.
Oh, and an excellent blizzard it is. Look at all that cold snow descending on the members of SIUUUU, but they come away from it relatively unscathed. Now Bugha's gonna fall off of a nice stun coming out from somebody on the side of SIUUUU. Can't quite tell who it was right there, but excellent play coming in. SIUUUU, though, is gonna come away with a couple of crucial kills, and that's going to allow them to continue this progression through King's Row streets.
Very big punish onto fake Nevix.
Yeah.
You go in, you hope for that charge, but some people have the SP. Jinx, don't do this. Jinx, you may not win this out. This could be a dangerous game that you're playing, going for the hammer kill. Look at this, you get punished for it. This is why you don't meme in real matches. That's at least my firm belief. Captain Crash may be gone.
I agree with you there.
The Blizzard, but at least it gets canceled. You've now given Name enough for him to use that Shatter, and they're gonna stabilize. You have given so much up, and for what? Funny hammer kill?
Yeah, exactly. Bugha, though, he's gonna continue trying these funny kills right here. We're gonna already see him setting up for another flank charge. A1B2 now on the Wrecking Ball is an interesting pick as well, but I'm here for it. Bugha coming in from the backline. They're getting peppered by that turret, but they don't seem to care. The charge was very long, easily telegraphed. Bugha just had to turn around, or rather, Fake Nevix just had to turn around and countercharge to let Bugha meet their demise. Molten Core now committed as well from Jinx, and that's going to make it very difficult for Name Not Given to try and stymie this aggression, and in fact, it's not going to be successful. And Streets phase is all but over in favor of SIUUUU.
It's quite interesting. You know, Torbjorn's not as good as Cassidy as I would say, but it's almost like a mini Cassidy. Wait, they are just willingly jumping off the map, and Bugha... I think we missed something. There was something that happened in Gen Chat. They just did not tell us that was gonna happen. That caught me completely. I'm speechless.
Yeah, I am not entirely sure what just happened right there. That is very interesting. A1B2 now on the Winston, playing musical tanks right now. As the rest of the members of Name Not Given come back in, we're gonna see self-destruct thrown out, and it catches 2 right there. Alpha combining for another 2 kills, and that's gonna remove just about everybody from Name Not Given, and now SIUUUU coming very close to successfully completing King's Row.
I mean, now everybody has to walk through this small tunnel. The Shatter's built, goes out. Look at this juggle. It's going to be a messy one.
Whoa, that it is. Bugha's going to catch 3 members out. There's no Reinhardt to be seen anywhere on point, but SIUUUU's going to finish. And with that, I'm going to do what the players asked and give them a SIUUUU on stream.
Listen, I don't think they really, deserve it. I saw that monkey jump and boot the Mei off the map. I don't... The jump not back on a monkey is not something that is very wide. So to see a Mei fall off the map, that's almost very fun. That's absolutely very funny to me. But, you know, I'm still a little bit speechless, you know? I'm guessing both of these teams are just really... They probably know each other. They're probably all really good friends. They're all just having a good blast, not taking the game too seriously. And I can fully respect that. We saw the very funny jump off the map, though that was in a big benefit for SIUUUU. I think as we saw, they had ultimates. They just came back in and used them. You know, it's the speed and momentum. As I was saying before, you know, the Toadman may not be Cassidy, but it's almost like a mini Cassidy, just with lower fire rate and a more of a projectile. So
and a lower stature as well.
I didn't want to point that out. You know, people have. Exis is not here, so that's not really something that I don't know if our producer right now is standing below the 5-foot category, but I know she is. Regardless, this is an interesting strategy, the AC 130, but on defense.
Yeah, this is very curious. I wonder if they're going to go for like a TP charge into spawn or something. It looks like they're going to do that. Oh my gosh, Jix already takes Yuki out of the sky. They're going to get Booga as well, and this Bastion behind enemy lines is just doing tremendous damage. They still haven't taken out the TP, and look at this. All Fake Nevix has to do is hold his shield. Just M2 all day.
I don't even know if that's something you just scream or if you just wake up and you say, yep, let's just teleport to that right high ground because we can. But there is just so much damage coming out. Can you even break through it? I think this pick is going to signify, yes, you can. They cannot shoot everybody who is in that smaller ground. And while, yes, Jinx can teleport and gets rid of the shield, it's more onto name not given, punishing kind of this aggression going out, though it just seems they don't even care. SIUUUU is just continuing to use ultimates and play just in your face.
Yeah, this is absolutely tremendous. I mean, you know, we're accustomed to seeing spawn holds on maps like Havana, but not on King's Row. This is ridiculous. We see a couple of members of Name Not Given flying through the backline. Booga trying desperately to find a Mega. They do eventually find one. But in the meantime, Alpha has gone down again. This is the second time they've been picked out by a member of Name Not Given. The first time there wasn't any follow-up, but this time with Kex getting demeched, it looks like there will be. SIUUUU could be falling here on first point as Kex is taken out of the fight. But look at this, a couple of counter picks come in as well.
Kex was actively just not even trying to shoot. I mean, the Bastion ult's going in solely to be rude. Look at that, tries to pull the, like, Jabate moment, but not even able to kill off poor Tracer. I mean, eventually it comes out, get the little, you know, R&R action. This is by far the quickest quick play game I've ever seen in my life for a competitive match.
Yeah, this has to... I've seen more organized quick play games than this, if I'm being completely honest. SIUUUU has just... okay, so for a 4.5 SR team to just throw the book out the window and still find this kind of success, that's ridiculous. They burnt over 2 minutes off the clock now for Name Not Given. They don't have a tick to their name yet on this point. SIUUUU just has them downloaded at this point. Sound barrier committed by HOROX as Jix is finally taken out of the fight. So this is an opportunity for Name Not Given to finally push in. Muff and the other Baptiste now having a little square off, and look at this. Now they're just memeing at this point. What is this game? Okay, so I've been up all night casting Rocket League before this, and so I could very well be hallucinating, but I don't think I am right now.
We live in a society. I guess that's the only real phrase that I have to say, as the Battle Ultimates were used on no one, on themselves, and now this is a very messy fight. Name Not Given really don't have much of a chance to get a tick until SIUUUU just start giving it to them. I guess they just really want to play more King's Row.
I guess so. This is, you know, you've got to throw everything out the book when you get a match like this on your hands. This is some of the wackiest Overwatch I have seen in a long time. Look at this, Jix is back in the high ground now. There's no semblance of any kind of order on this map anywhere right now. There's just duels breaking out left and right and center. And in the end of it all, it's Jix coming up with kill after kill after kill on this Bastion.
I guess maybe it's because playoffs are so close. You know, maybe the SIUUUU just do not care anymore. Maybe Name Not Given. They've shooken hands underneath the table and they have said, all right, we'll give you the win, but it's going to be funny. We'll give, all right? Either way, I guess this is just more of just a setup moment. Name Not Given going on to the Monkey. Reinhardt going up against this Bastion. Still set up in quite curious ways, not the charge.
Oh, a nice charge again from Booga. Booga just continues to go absolutely crazy with this Reinhardt. And oh, look at the shatter kill coming out from Fake Nevix. Fake Nevix right there to end the reign of terror that Bugha started with that charge onto the Baptiste. And now Jix is finishing them off with the tank configuration. This card has stopped just after Arches on King's Row.
Well, it's incredibly hard. Name Not Given are not running a composition to inherently go up against the Torbjorn. I definitely feel it's just a composition that is looking to press that W, looking to move forward. In these types of moments, you know, you want that Diva or Sigma solely because of eating damage, a bit more sustainability to peel you in against the Bastion. But notice how SIUUUU, they have two players who are just not being punished while they're in the opponent's backline. I mean, look, Lucio saying hi!
Yeah, this is ridiculous. This game has turned into a meme at this point, I think. And in the meantime, Muff is just continuing to capture the cart. And Ace just runs by them and says, yeah, you can have it, I suppose.
Sorry, Soldier 76, he left his microwave on. He's got his Tortino pizza rolls within him. He had to leave for a second.
Damn it, Dad, 76.
Precisely. You know, we've got the, look at this. Maybe this is why they call them Bugha, you know?
Oh, yeah, that's gotta hurt a little bit because Fake Nevix landed that killing blow shatter onto Bugha earlier, and Bugha not being able to return the favor, a little bit unfortunate. Captain Prash saying hello to Bastion at this point, and yeah, this is ridiculous. Now Ace has the hammer out, and I imagine they're trying to find a hammer kill. Bugha comes in with a nice shatter though. No, that wasn't Bugha. That was Fake Nevix coming in with a nice shatter right there. Bugha is gonna be removed from the fight by Ace. They get the fist kill, but not the hammer kill, curiously.
Look at this big bomb too. Oh, that was a little bit coordinated, which was, I think, the most serious thing I've seen happen in this game. Just
in the last several minutes, at least.
Yeah, and once again, this may be going into overtime, but the only way this point gets captured is that if SIUUUU just decide not to.
If SIUUUU just let them.
However, it just seems that they're more of just chilling and villaining all around this point.
I don't even know anymore. This is ridiculous. I mean, I feel like we might as well be in the workshop chamber at this point, watching these two teams play like this. This is just absurd. Ace has the hammer out once again.
They're deciding it on a Torb 1v. They're deciding it on a Torb 1v1.
Is that what's happening? This is incredible. Oh, look at this. Yuki comes away with a hammer kill. Shatter's gonna come in from Fake Nevix. They don't quite land, but now Name Not Given has the advantage. Sound barrier gonna be committed by Horrocks and Captain Crash both, with overtime ticking over. Name Not Given, beyond all expectations, has captured second point. And look at the charge off the mat from Bugha and from A1B2. This is absolutely. Did somebody slip acid into these people's drinks this morning or something?
And I was having a conversation one time with a couple people, and I brought up therapy, and they had said Overwatch players do not go to therapy. I think this game is a good case to show it. These players are unhinged, especially since the fight's happening on point, but nobody's looking after each other. They're just kind of hitting each other.
Yeah, this has just turned into deathmatch. This has just turned into a 4.5 deathmatch lobby at this point. Jix finds Bugha in a place he definitely shouldn't be, but that's not really surprising given the kind of shenanigans we've seen so far. 40 seconds left in this match, and I gotta tell you, you know, we're playing video games, right? And you gotta have fun while you're playing these games, and that's exactly what these players are doing right now, and frankly, I'm having fun in the booth as well.
I definitely had to say, yeah, this is something that at least we'll be talking about, for me on the very bright side, of matches that I will remember, casting-wise.
Yes, same. Yeah, I'm glad that we've got to share this experience here together, User Intel. I've never had a game go off the rails like that. Not in like community tournaments where like chaos is the name of the game have I seen these kinds of shenanigans. It comes in from Bugha. We've reached overtime once again, and I wonder if SIUUUU is actually gonna let Name Not Given cap, if we are gonna go back in for a round 3 and 4 right here, or if they're just gonna seal the deal. It looks like Name Not Given is taking the cart ever closer. SIUUUU trying to stop them? Not really sure at this point. Hard to tell, if I'm being perfectly honest. But with Monkey going off the point, that's gonna do it. SIUUUU come away with the win.
Yeah, Captain just uses the sound barrier and jumps off. Just like gave up. No stall. I feel so bad. This was like one of the first days that we used predictions, and I don't think anybody could have predicted this. You said you trusted me at the start of the map. I don't know how I could have failed you like this. This was something, no foresight, no Greek god would have been able to tell. As SIUUUU, they technically take the victory.
Yeah, they do. They absolutely take the victory. And you know what? I think we're all winners here today after that match, because that was just a riot to see. And, we're taking a look at these Reinhardt stat comparisons, but frankly, I'm not sure what to make of them, really, because of all the shenanigans that we saw. I mean, Booga, one stat that I would love to see is just number of charges from the backline, but there's no real way to, statistically take that into account, at least not with the software we currently have. But I will say this, take a look at the damage done between Fake Nevix and Booga. I think that tells a little bit of a story right there.
Definitely have to agree. Don't know how much of these statistics are truly like accurate, how much of these are like memeage or not, but I'll still say 26 eliminations. Come on, Booga, you got to be memeing a little bit harder. Fake Nevix just absolutely dominating when it comes to those points, but still, SIUUUU looking absolutely great. They move forward. We got a Torb 1v1. We got 2 Bastions in the game. That's a match to remember when it comes down to Overwatch EX
Yeah,
history.
it is. Yes, it certainly is. I hope somebody clipped portions of this, because there were certainly there were just shenanigans every single step of the way, it felt like, on this Kings Row map. What a way to finish that matchup as well. I would have loved to have seen match chat as well. We did get an insight into that here in the casting booth, but I bet it was fascinating, to say the least.
Fascinating. Truly. Either way, shoot, they're going to continue on into the series. Name not given as well, but don't know how much. Their confidence is not going to be blown. They basically feel the same. But,
Yeah.
It's not over for us, at least, Juggle God. That's the bright side of all
No,
of
that's
this.
true. Yeah, absolutely. We've got another match coming your way very shortly, but before that, we're going to take a little bit of a break, so stick around. There's more Overwatch European Expanse action coming your way in about 15 minutes. See you all soon.
There you go again, looking so handsome. Oh, you have your way, and it's making me weaken. You and your stardust, walking like that. It's really getting too much, but I can't pull back. Though I try to resist, I can't fight this. And no one makes me feel like you do. And no one sets my body on fire. And no one gives me shivers like you. Oh, no one does it better. How I try to sleep, but you're deep in my mind. Got a hold of me. When I'm awake, I'm all blind. You and your magic, like infinite power. God knows I try to resist, but you're pulling me closer. Oh, I gotta stay away, but you won't let me. And no one makes me feel like you do. And no one sets my body on fire. And no one gives me shivers like you. Oh, no one does it better. And no one
The scuffle, maybe a final opportune moment to where the Tracer 1v1 is going to be punished, falling off the map, even getting the melee. At least that goes to your full spot, full charge. Now your scrim. Just barely make it out in the fight on the point. No recall. You're absolutely
About like 100% better most of the time. Still waiting on this nano. I mean, you know, not ideal.
So let's take a second to look at the Tracer statistics, though. There is a significant amount of time difference, but 18 eliminations, 8k damage, 6 ultimate SIUUUU. That is a lot. That's three mines, maybe on both attack and defense. Playing for 11 minutes and 5 seconds compared to 15, you're equal, if not better than Habit. And I think that's not only showing a different play style, but a different understanding of how you're wanting to play that Eva. Hatu still being able to get in that consistent damage. Look at the final blows per 10, 8.1 more than Habit. Now going back off the point, the top spot, darkness to stay up. Long staggered fight as loser her
rally because they know that it's coming at some point here.
But look, the bomb is what makes the difference, Booty. It's the bomb.
Rocket shots. Now everybody's kind of out, you know, separated.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the broadcast and to Week 2, Day 6 of the Overwatch European Expanse. If you're just joining us, welcome! And boy, did you miss the last map on King's Row. Once again, my name is Warren Jungle Guy Hammond, joined on the mic again by user Name Intel. And, how are you feeling after that last map, user?
I'm feeling a little empty inside, as if a piece of me has just been ripped out from my body solely for everyone to put onto display. But in a good way, if you can consider that like a good way in its own sense. It was very entertaining. That's pretty much where
It
I'm
was
going with.
very entertaining.
It
Very,
was.
very entertaining. Yeah.
I'm wondering
Yeah.
if, we were told that's just how EU works, so let's see. Well, Shanghai Wagons versus Spear, will they be able to do that? I'm kind of wondering. These are two very good teams.
Yeah, they certainly are. Lots of great players on each side, and we're gonna get a look into their lineups here in just a moment. Um, we've got some names that I'm excited to see here play. Noya and Melon, a fantastic support line for the Shanghai Wagons. Similarly on Spars, I'm excited to see how their tank line is going to play out with Dino and Pure Irish, who, by the way, is Ireland's thinnest man.
I'm sorry, what? Ireland's thinnest man?
Thinnest man, yeah. According to the further information, he is Ireland's thinnest man. So that is something else right there. I don't know if there's a lot of thin men in Ireland, but if there are, he is the thinnest of them all.
Well, props to it, I guess. Either way, we've got players who have had experience within the World Cup, which hasn't happened in a while, man. I miss it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, we've got people from contenders. We've got people who are ready to show the limelight. You've seen the talent, but the question does go is, Mr. Jungle God, who do you feel, if you had to make a prediction, who would win out?
I think it's going to go the way of the Shanghai Wagons, and that's because they've really got a lot of, accomplishments under their belt. Take second place in GGEU Season 5, as well as third place in Season 6, were the winners of the Overtime Champions Tournament, and despite taking a long break before jumping back into competitive play, I think they're still going to have what it takes.
Ooh, I have to give that to you. I guess, to play devil's advocate, I'll have to go with Spear solely because you never want a team who's not getting voted on, especially since they've got a player you can play tic-tac-toe on their forehead. That's just the way the things work. Either way, let's talk about map picks. We had Ilios last time, so it's quite interesting for any map of all. So it looks like it's actually going on to Oasis, though I feel they are messing with our heart. But we'll have to trust our producers to be giving us the right information. Scuff Scrims is what it's about. Regardless, Oasis is an interesting map out of everything. I don't think this is something that we often see unless it's map 5.
Yeah, that's a good point. Very interesting. We got two interesting control maps to start out.
Oh, it's Busan. Never mind.
Actually, take that back. It's going to be Busan. Yeah, we got debated here a little bit in the booth, but that happens every now and then. Want to remind everybody, too, about the predictions in chat. Who do you think is going to come away with the win today? We're going to be posting that very shortly. Actually, it might already be up now that I think about it.
Yeah, we're on a little bit of the delay, so, that's just going to seem random for them.
Yeah, exactly. It will seem a little random. But we're getting ready to load into Busan, and we're going to be going to Sanctuary first.
I love Busan. It's such a beautiful map, and one of those maps that Blizzard just got right when they uploaded it. Not a deathmatch for one, but still came out looking beautiful, and it's fairly random. Question is, what are the type of compositions that we are going to see? From the last match, we got to see a lot of Wrecking Ball being used, a very utilized composition, especially at this tier, because we are very close to that contenders level. So to see Shanghai Wagons come out onto the double shield, looking to play a lot more defensively, it's not something that I definitely would say I'm a bit surprised about. It has a lot of security. It has a lot of bases, good rotations you can take. It matters more on how Spear play against it. Both of these compositions can either make it or break it for each other, so it's going to be a fight of Dunko Dino versus the entirety of Shanghai Wagons.
Yeah, Drunk Dino gonna be looking to get a lot of disruption with this kind of composition that the Shanghai Wagons are rolling out on. They're gonna want to try and boop that Orisa out of position, maybe in front of her shield, and force her to use that fortified cooldown so that then the rest of the team can collapse on them later. But first blood going to be drawn by Shanghai Wagons as Mouse is able to find the head of Waldo 2001.
Look at that. This fight very much has already opened itself up into a dangerous category. Shanghai Wagon, they're just waiting for an opportunity to find somebody out. Their shields can only last so long, though. By playing this slowly, it's almost a double risk, but it's all up to Mouse to keep going hard.
Yeah, and keep going hard they will, but Eurospar is able to capture the point in the meantime. Despite things looking to be going the way of Shanghai Wagons, at least initially, Frost is going to go down low, but in the meantime, they were able to take Pure Irish out of the fight. So even though this point has turned in favor of Eurospar, Shanghai Wagons are putting up quite the fight. And with the amplification matrix used as well, it's going to be very difficult for Eurospar to stay on point and stay alive.
An amazing sense of... the word is right on the tip of my tongue, but I would not say passiveness, but understanding of control and when you're supposed to move and not panicking for a second. Shanghai Wagons trust each other completely, and they set themselves up for victory. Now, Aerosphere, they have a lot of opportunities to just set up, take moments. This is where they're going to be looking to engage, but it's who's faster than before.
Yeah, and who's faster this time is going to be the immortality field of Melon's. Going to take out that pulse bomb of Faith, give it 0 value, and now Shanghai Wagons have eclipsed the percentage capture for Eurospar. Minefield committed by Drunk Dino is going to find some value, and the rest of Eurospar are going to be able to clean up and retake control of this point.
Beautiful. Just the fact that they managed to split up their attention, build up to those mines, and let them down. Shanghai Wagon's biggest issue is going to be these split angles, especially because they're very much reliant on being able to get a pick by somebody, you know, walking into an arrow or something. It matters a lot in Aerosphere. Spar, they have a lot of room to just take this engagement. They know where their opponents are coming from. It's the same angle, which it makes hard, which is harder for Shanghai Wagons, but it is also good for them to stay defensive.
That's a very good point. It's kind of a, you know, there's two edges to the sword, right? Two edges to the knife. And speaking of a knife, Eurospar is cutting through Shanghai Wagons like a knife through warm butter.
That's just the bigger problem, where you're not respecting how much damage a Brigida, especially Rally, can do per second. That was more than enough to take out Frost. It was a risky play. Now they're not going to be having that gravitic flux, and that's a big ultimate that you desperately need to be looking to find anybody out. Now Shanghai Wagons, they're on the back foot. Though Melon has this window, as this competition is showing you, they're never playing together. They're very split up, so unless Melon is using this primarily for healing, it's not going to be getting as much value as you really want it to.
Oh! No, but if it gets combined with the supercharger, which it's not going to be, that is unfortunate. That window could have been tremendously valuable combined with the amplification with that supercharger, but it's not going to be in the cards for him as Eurospar takes this first sub-map.
Absolute speed Sonics in the game, and they are going quick. I just gotta say, it's absolutely I wouldn't say impressive, but it's ingenious how they're very quick to these engagements. They know what they're running out on. They're not too scared, and the Brigida as well played a little bit more forward than we truly expect. Shanghai Wagons just did not, I guess, get a grip of how their opponents are working with. So now when we're moving into a point like downtown, which has a lot of open space and yet a lot of very packed in corridors, it's going to be a lot about focus fire. We're seeing 6-man coming out, or 6 of them if you want to be a bit more inclusive. It's going to be a split.
Yeah, it certainly is going to be a split right here. 6-man coming out for both sides, as a matter of fact. Mirror compositions right down to the end. So this is gonna be, you know, just who can execute this composition better. Right now, Eurospar has point control, but Shanghai Wagons are starting to surround them from above. Nice dive coming in from Dominic onto the Lucio. They're going to be able to finish them off as well. Without that speed boost out, this 6-man composition is going to have a hard time engaging. Shanghai Wagons come away with the first point presence as well.
Both Tracer and Reaper are very similar characters in this composition, being the primary damage dealers, while Sombras look to be building up those EMPs, but you already know that. What I want to be pointing out is the fact that we did not see Europe actually move forward. Euro they played a little bit more back. Waldo needs to be walking into their face, and now going into this fight, it's Coalescence making those engagements.
Yeah, we're going to have dueling rainbow lightsabers on point coming out from these Moiras. Both of them going to be taken out of the fight, though. Dominic going on a tear right now. For the Shanghai Wagon, self-destruct is committed, and it finds Noya on point as well. A great pickup right there, and unexpected as well, I think.
I gotta say, it's been the usage of the Tracer in these fights, which has been securing these big. I don't know if just Dominic is being an absolute gem when it comes to figuring out who is low, walking into them, and then getting that final clip off. Euro are just not being able to get that moment where Waldo's staying alive. Though the EMPs are built, it's still similar on both sides. This could go either way, but I really just want to see more aggression coming out of Euro. They got a fast comp, play it with speed.
Absolutely, here they come in quick. There's going to be an EMP followed by a self-destruct. One pick for each side. No, make that 3 now in favor of Eurospar. They're finally finding their footing as the picks come in hand over fist in favor of them. There's going to be a D-Mech onto Frost. They're going to be taken out of the fight in short order, and despite there being 85% on the board right now for Shanghai Wagon, the point will flip over in favor of Eurospar for the first time.
EMP is almost always a guaranteed win. That's a moment where Mouse is going to be a little bit regretful. Just you put a reliance onto the EMP bomb, doesn't always work out, and that's the double-edged sword, as we once said from before. Now, Euro, they have a lot of room set up. The Blossom for if they move in. You really can't just walk out into that. You get hacked, and look at that. Julian is taken out.
Yeah, with Julian out of the fight now, Shanghai Wagons are up the creek without a paddle. Noya follows them into the beyond shortly after that, and Eurospar really showing a lot of aggression right here, taking this fight before the main choke.
They have a lot of room and aggression to be able to pump in. Like, look at this. They used to Coalescence. They have a lot of room to set in, but Waldo is prepared for the Blossom.
Yeah, they are, and if that Blossom lands big, it could be absolutely devastating to the Shanghai Wagons. Pulse Bomb comes in, but it's not going to find any value. D-Mech is going to come out almost onto Pure Irish, but the sound barrier was there at the last moment to save them. Noya commits theirs in response as well. And now with both, all four support ultimates gone, it's going to be up to the Sombra EMP, which is going to be tremendous from Faith. Catches out 3 members, 2 of which fall almost immediately. And with those big heals from Melon nowhere to be found, this could go very easily the way of Eurospars, but it doesn't, as the members of Shanghai Wagons rally. Death Blossom committed as well, but Waldo's not going to find too much value from it, and now Eurospar has just about equalized the capture percentage of Shanghai Wagons.
It's still going back and forth, but this is not looking good for Euro, losing out on that Reaper. That's the main point of the fight, and as we see, they are losing people by the second. It just mattered on the fact that Shanghai Wagon, Frostmore especially, was doing an amazing job of making sure their mech did not break. Their mech broke, they would have lost that fight. So the fact that Waldo saved that Blossom, didn't have an opportunity to use it, that's what you're looking for. Now it's in overtime, and they need to make a change.
That they do, but they don't have any ultimates to utilize right now. Dominic, the sole ultimate on the board. It has to be a big pulse bomb right here. They try to commit it, but it's a whiff. And instead, Julian is taken out of the fight, so this is an opportunity for Eurospar to come back into it. Frost has been D-Mech'd as well, and Melon's Coalescence, while doing value, has found Drunk Dido, and with that, one ultimate is off the board for Eurospar. The self-destruct comes in and temporarily clears the point long enough for Eurospar to gain possession of it, and with the support line falling of Shanghai Wagons, this is all but over now in favor of Eurospar. What a comeback on this point. We're going to get a last moment contest from Julian, but it's not going to be for too terribly long. They are going to be able to stack a couple people on point, but the point goes in favor of Eurospar, and they take the first map.
Focus fire and coordination, that was absolutely amazing to see. We got very worried, thinking they would need something different to be able to just come in, but especially with the kill onto Lucio, not allowing that sound barrier to come out, and they just were able to move forward. And I'll give props to Nut. Look at this. This was the moment. Just unlucky, you jump, you're caught in the air,
yeah.
You just can't use it. That's a little bit of an Ajax and a feels bad moment, but for Euro, you've definitely got to be feeling massively big brain that they did the best that they could. Let's bring up some statistics right here, more especially on to Pure Irish, who played Diva for a considerable amount of time when it came down to that map. And I'm gotta say, 16 eliminations, the damage blocking, it's about the ordinary, but you're seeing how much they're getting in. But I feel it's just something's missing about the statistics. I definitely feel PRH is not getting as much room or if value as I think they're intending to get.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of damage block though. That's a pretty big number for that defense matrix right there. 16 elims as well. They were in the fight a lot, and they were, while they didn't contribute to, too many final blows, they committed to a lot of elims. So excellent numbers coming out from them, and excited to see them, show their prowess again on the next map.
I definitely have to agree, but man, I really just want to give a lot of love when it comes down to Frost and being able to stay alive. Keeping your mech up in Overwatch is one of the hardest things to do because mech is so powerful that a lot of people are, beaming their eyes, walking into you, hoping to shut you down. And just the fact that the entirety of Shanghai Wagons, they were able to sustain themselves, keep the important people up in those fights. It meant a lot. And I think that's going to mean even more because our next map is going to be an escort. And of all maps, we're going back into the dive type coordination. More specifically, we're going over to Watch Point Gibraltar. And Watch Point Gibraltar itself, I love this map. I love this map so much.
Same.
Shanghai Wagons, they're going to be running out on something I think a little more comfortable that we've seen. Dominic has already been really good when it comes down to picking people off. It just seems that Euro, they have that little bit more of a clutch.
Yeah, that was what this last sub-map, I think, or, the entire map of Busan came down to, was the clutch factor. And a lot of times that's what separates the upper echelons of teams and players, is that they, they're just the clutch factor, right? Both teams are performing at such a high level that very minor things come into play in a big way. And I think that's what happened in this last map.
I definitely agree. The thing that always splits off players in the ELO is the amount of mistakes you're making per fight. And we're seeing, only when those high intense moments comes, those small mistakes, they get a little bit more exposed. We even get a side swap over here, meaning that Shanghai Wagons, they're going to be the ones who are coming in on attack, while Euro, they have a second for defense. And with the rosters having a little bit of a swap up, having a moment just to kind of breathe in, we're going to have to see what they do to change up the fight. I think dive is so fundamental that it's very obvious. So what you got to do, just play better, play faster. But I definitely feel that the team needs to be a bit more in sync when they want to be able to make those changes in the long term.
You're absolutely right. There was one moment in particular. It was the first fight on downtown Busan where the Lucio, I believe Noya, she was caught out underneath the point and really not giving too much value to your team at the time. And so I think, that little bit of miscoordination right there could have really been one of the difference makers. But Noya was still doing very, very well, I think, in other realms on that map. So, a little bit of a misplay there, but, just a small one, really. And like we said before, it's those small differences that really could make or break it.
Yeah, you say small differences, and we're already looking at a couple of them. The more difference being into the DPS, a Tracer Widow on one side, Ashe Tracer on another side. Very different playstyles, especially if we see the Zarya come out, which is changing the compositions into that double bubble rather than into that just pure dive high aggression that we're naturally seeing out of these teams. Shanghai Wagons having a lot more room to just set up and be a bit more aggressive, while Euro, they don't. They basically can play defensive. They can play reactive, and it's all about how they're responding to their opponents.
Yeah, that's such a good point. A lot of times you don't want to be the aggressor. You want to be reacting. You want to be playing the counter dive, right? And that could be exactly what they're doing. FaZe taking a little moment to catch their breath right there, sitting down on the job, as it were, but getting a nice little third-person point of view around that corner. Dive coming in onto the high ground now. Not going to result in any kills, but a lot of abilities expended and thrown into this fight, trying to bleed each other's abilities out to really make one push to secure a couple of kills.
It's just this big
wow.
poke. Oh, that was deadly close. We saw that just a little bit of a Matrix moment. The big problem is, look at them, trapped inside this room. Full charge Zarya and a Brigitte just walking into you. That's just absolutely rude and pure Irish. You see that little Graviton Surge built up?
Yep, that is incredible. Already a Graviton Surge before the Nano Boost has been built, and that is not typical for these double bubble compositions, so you gotta give some credit to pure Irish right there. Standout play already from the thinnest man in Ireland.
I have to agree. But I mean, look, Nano comes in, it's gonna be changing up this fight. Grab even you, Shanghai Wagons. They're still getting the better of this fight.
Yeah, they still are. Look at the aggression coming out from them. They do not want to be outdone here by this Eurospar team. Nice sleep coming onto the high ground as well, and Drunk Dino rather, is taken out of the fight. But the card has really only made it under to the car wash at this point. So, slow start for Shanghai Dragons, but they do have the card moving.
Man, that just pure Irish had the Graviton Surge. Big ultimate to be able to win these fights just does not help. Now they have to walk in with kind of the aggression and the dive opportunity from Shanghai Wagons. They're gonna have to play very carefully. If one person's out of position, this could hurt them.
It certainly could. There's going to be a contest at the last moment. Waldo comes away with a kill from Bob onto Frost. And so without that Diva, and with Julian asleep on the job, things are looking a little rough for Shanghai Wagons. But the kill's coming in favor of them right now, especially after this rally has been committed. Dominic just able to go on an absolute tear. And despite this Primal Rage being in Drunk Dino's back pocket, I think they're going to let it go and give them this point.
There's just nothing that they can do. You're walking into the enemy's own room, and while yes, Double Bubble is considerably really good comp, a lot of what the heroes on the side of Euro are meant to do is set up. They have no room to set up when Shanghai Wagons are walking into you. They have the Diva, so they're eating more of your shots, and, well, it's the contest that truly hurts your side. Now you have a moment. You get a second to breathe in. You're going to be able to fight through this corridor on top of the ship. It's going to be more of just Shanghai Wagons. How do you engage this?
Yeah, exactly. It's a really tough position to try and get any value. You want to wait until these team members from the Shanghai Wagons push out, but if you wait, the card's just going to continue to get pushed. So you're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. Nano boost, just a pure Irish with a full charge right there on the Zarya, dealing tremendous damage, but not enough to get through the rest of the Shanghai Wagons. As Noya, she is really starting to pop off right now on this Brigitte.
More than anything, it's just being able to sustain your team, and that's what a Brigitte is meant to do. Absolutely,
yeah.
Shining star, especially when these fights commence. Dunk is the one who has to start walking in, so you're just getting more Inspire energy up. This is where a similar hold is now coming in, but will they actually be able to get it out this time?
Dueling rallies now, and the Tracer duel results in a kill. Actually, Tracer's not dueling each other. They take out their respective DPS on the other side. So, nice plays coming out from each of them, but look at how close the card is now to completion for the Shanghai Wagon. They've got this wagon rolling, and it is showing very few signs of stopping. Julian now dealing a lot of damage with that Tesla cannon from Winston, and the Tac Visor committed as well, dealing so much damage from afar, and with no shields to stop it, these bullets are just landing every single time.
Just being able to... It's the clutch factor. I don't even know what more to say it. They go and they manage to take out Waldo, and, well, I think that's by far one of the bigger picks that you're being able to take out. Ash needs those moments to scope, take those seconds to shot in, and, well, you're not getting those opportunities. Now, look, Dominic is walking into the enemy team with the confidence of an actual lion, and now, Euro, they have to go against, they have to slow them down.
Yeah, they absolutely do. 3 minutes on the clock moving into the third point of watch for Gibraltar. That is a great time. You have to be feeling good, but Faith has to be feeling even better with a double pulse bomb kill. They're gonna get their just desserts though, as Dominic finds them with their own. Rally committed again by both sides, and this is a great hold coming out from Eurospar. Look at the point the card is at. You don't typically see it getting stalled out there.
You know, they just kind of caught Shanghai Wagons very off the rocks, I guess, in a funny way of saying it. Using that nano, they were able to go in, shut them down, and now Shanghai Wagons, they're going to be a little more. they have a lot of room just to push in, but it's mattering if Euro can defend the DPS who have just been caught out at every point.
Oh, and look at that coach gun boop coming in onto the Nano. Winston Nut has just committed that onto Drunk Dino, but they've already got 60% up to their next one. Melon as well looking pretty good with their Nano boost coming having just been expended. Pure Irish just about to get this next Gravitic Graviton Surge online as well. They just have to make sure the D.Va is nowhere to be found, otherwise it could get eaten in just a split second. And there it comes, thrown into the ground. There's no chance for the D.Va to eat it. But the picks are going to come in favor, at least initially, of the Shanghai Wagons. That is, until the DPS Waldo 2001 has something to say about it. Frost goes dangerously low, but is not demeched, and this card is getting dangerously close to completion once again for the Shanghai Wagons.
Doesn't even matter. Pure Irish does the best thing you could ever do, and that's use an ultimate when it comes down to Overwatch. Being able to throw it into the wall so the D.Va doesn't have a chance to eat it, absolutely genius. And now Shanghai Wagons are going to have a bigger issue when it comes to these re-engages. You're already seeing them come out on something different, the Widowmaker, meaning that they want to kind of punish Waldo for being out in the open as they've been. A little bit more back, while yes, and it's been benefiting, Mouse is going to be able to win those kind of long-range fights if they get a chance.
Yeah, they certainly will be a little bit better positioned, but that is if they can stay alive, which is not the case. Nanobu's committed onto Drunk Dino, and that's going to be a very quick kill onto the Widowmaker and several other members of the Shanghai Wagon. They've done a blistering place through most of this map, but they have gotten stalled so hard here on third point. Now there's less than 30 seconds to go.
In every engagement, we're seeing the fundamentals of what they're practicing. Oh no, that's not a fundamental of something you've been practicing. That's just something that's left you at a major disadvantage, not having that Zarya to be able to peel in for your tanks, especially for your DPS. They have to give themselves some time, or else Shanghai Wagons, they're gonna nano in.
Yeah, exactly. They have to give a lot of space here if they're gonna hope to stay in this fight. Pulse Bomb committed, but it doesn't find anybody. Here comes Bob from Waldo 2001. That's going to give enough time for Drunk Dino to get back into the fight. They pop the Primal Rage, and now they've got their sights set on the Ana. They're booping them away. And even if they don't get the kill, they have made them largely ineffective. They do, in fact, get the kill, so kudos to them as well. But they're not going to be able to survive as a couple of members of Eurospar combined for a few kills here. And this is going to be as far as this card gets for the Shanghai Wagons. They brought it far, but not quite to the end of Watchpoint Gibraltar.
You know, I always have to sit there and tell myself, do I mention this or do I not? Because sometimes it's just so funny to me that Pure Irish, I think they thought they had bubble, tried to walk into the bomb, die immediately.
Oh no.
If that was in an overtime type of situation where they needed to hold it,
yeah,
I would have been so upset. But, hey, not too bad. They managed to hold it out, and they did an absolutely phenomenal job. Also, Dunk with that Primal Rage, that was just absolutely disgusting. That's pro-level juggling skills. That Ana did not touch the ground, and that's what you're looking for. So,
yeah, that was a phenomenal juggle coming out from them. I really liked watching the mechanics on that play.
Yeah, and I mean, hey, coming from you, that's basically a certificate. They're going on tour tomorrow.
Yes, they are. We've got a Wrecking Ball composition coming out from the Shanghai Wagons. They're going to use the Sigma as well, and you know, I think that's an interesting pick, but I have to call it into question here. I feel like having another dive tank alongside the Wrecking Ball is a little bit more useful on Watchpoint Gibraltar, but this could give a little bit more cover for the DPS. I'm going to be curious to see who Mouse comes out on.
Whatever they decide to run out, it's definitely going to be something very very fast, and the Widowmaker, while yes, is not speed and very fast, it's more about what that Widowmaker can do in those seconds. The sniper, it's just so powerful that while Euro's on this very defensive composition, they still have to play incredibly careful for any type to peek, because look, that ass showed for a millisecond and no one gets headshot.
Yeah, exactly. You can't leave yourself vulnerable for a moment, because at these high levels, these Widowmakers rarely miss. See already a few shots coming in, and 35%, a third of the way already to their ultimate. That is a great pace that Mouse is setting right now. I'd love to see the Brigida Zenyatta backline as well. I think it's so powerful, especially on a point like Watchpoint Gibraltar. Eurospar now coming in with the attack. They've got control now of this high ground, but Blue Box is still in control of the Shanghai Wagons. Mouse is still up there, so that's something that they're going to need to neutralize, which they haven't been able to, as the defense from the Shanghai Wagons is proving its mettle.
It's having a lot of defensive potential, and that's solely just because Frost is on the wrecking ball, making sure to continuously boop them around, break their attention, while Julian, they are using the power of the Sigma. And what I mean by that is just being able to have that long-range poke with the shield. You're defending your team. Mouse basically has nothing to worry about because they cannot extend that many resources into, you know, putting to take out Mouse. They have to wait for a setup, and they're prioritizing those supports.
Yeah, that they are, which is a dangerous thing to do, but you have to pick your poison in a situation like this. Dominic now looking for an opportunity to dive in, but not finding one at the moment. Waldo, though, is able to find Mouse, and with that, the Eurospar dam has been broken, and they are flooding onto point with some wins. Bob was committed as well to that fight, and with that, they're going to get the payload much closer to this first point cap.
Honestly, it was just a beautiful way. That Bob was absolutely necessary, as Melon's Transcendence was just wearing out. It was trying to burst down against it, and that's really what matters. Those Shanghai Wagons, they have a lot of room to walk in. They're walking into a nest that is dangerous. The mines, that makes a difference.
Yeah, it's going to be the difference maker right here. It's going to make this hold that much stronger for the Shanghai Wagons. Eurospar are going to have to back off and try again, especially now that the main source of healing, Nut, is out of the fight.
That. Oh, sorry, I just had to see a second. I was wondering what the Tracer's main goal was, and that was to find out Mouse, who switched over to the Ash. Beautiful, beautiful pick. Though they do find out Faith in the end. Look at this. This has given Euro enough confidence to start looking for a form of an engagement. And, well, fighting out Dominic, this is just not going to be looking good in the long run. They really need to find an ultimate, or rather a pick, solely just since Euro have the room to take the engagements, and they are looking for that Zenyatta.
Oh, and look at that Graviton Surge. Excellent placement up there on the high ground. Catches out several members, and crucially, Melon doesn't have the Transcendence online just yet, so these kills really coming in heavily. The Nano Boost has been committed now onto Drug Dino, and that Tesla Cannon is working in overtime right now. The Transcendence does come in to try and mitigate some of the effects. And look at this. Shanghai Wagons coming away with a beautiful hold. With Pure Irish out of the fight, there's not much more that Eurospar can do, and they're forced to back off with now just 30 seconds left to go. But this is feeling like a deja vu, because this is, I believe, the exact same thing we saw before.
This is already immensely close right now. It just seems Euro, they have to go on something that's eating up this poke damage that has been crushing them for so long. They need to make a difference, but Frost with the mines, that limits their movement. It's all gonna be here, and it's gonna count now.
Here comes the minefield. It's going to be landing soon. Julian has the Gravitic Flux as well. They could combine for a nasty combo right here, but it looks like that's going to be exactly the plan. As Drug Dino goes down, the minefield DMX Pure Irish as well. But Bob Waldo is coming in huge with a couple of kills. Can they translate this into a fight when it's a 3v3 on point right now? But more so a 4x4 with the Bobs coming in. And oh no, the Bob from Mouse goes just way too wide, but it's not going to matter because the rest of the defense is there. The Shanghai Wagons tie the series up.
Limiting those options, well, it just seemed to be in their favor. Shanghai Wagons tie up the series 1-for-1 in a best of 3. All you need are 2 more points to guarantee yourself a victory. But that's the adaptation that we are looking for when it comes down to this elo. Dragon Ball composition works amazing in these types of defensive ways. And, well, Euro switched over to that Diva a little too late, had no time to change things up, and we even get some Waldo statistics. Look at that,
Yeah.
54% weapon accuracy, 60% scoped accuracy. That is a beautiful whistle of just accuracy and consistency that you're being able to keep. You know, I can barely keep 20% weapon accuracy. To see 54, you know, that's a shining star moment.
Yeah, that really is a shining star moment. And these elims too, 21. Tremendous play coming out from Waldo. I mean, they got who was it? They got the Mouse. They got Mouse to swap off of the Widowmaker. So that is a huge boon right there. And we're gonna be going next to Kings Row, only a short amount of time between our last couple of visits. But before we do that, we are going to throw it to a short break. So stick around. We've got more excellent action coming your way very soon. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the action. If you are just joining us, where have you been? Because we have a series on our hands. The Shanghai Wagons have tied things up with Eurospar after a phenomenal showing on Watchpoint Gibraltar, user.
I definitely have to agree. It was a full hold, especially after Busan, which was already such a close map. So to see a full hold come out, I think that's meaning somebody is just woken up in the momentum. It may be switching out, but as we said before the break, you know, there are going to be a lot of changes, especially with our next map being something like King's Row. We've primarily seen quick dives come out, but though the Wrecking Ball composition, it's viable on here.
It absolutely is.
Is it as good as kind of the standard Brawl that we are used to seeing?
That's the question, and I think Brawl still reigns supreme on King's Row, so I anticipate to see a big brawl happening on this map between both sides. Reinhardt swinging hammers, and, you know, the shenanigans we saw the last time we went to King's Row, I don't know if we can top those, but we could have, I think, a much more close matchup this time around.
Ooh, I just feel like the blood is boiling. These players Control is something I always say that it's a warm-up match. It's not really something that you're truly paying attention to much of the time. I think that's when you just come off the scrims, everybody's finally starting to wake up, get ready. But now, being so far into the series, especially on something like King's Row, this is, I think it's more important not to give a single inch when it comes down to these brawls. And my main focus is it's going to be back onto that tank line. I definitely feel Frost and Julian, they did an absolutely phenomenal job when it came down to that last map, especially when it came to defending their own supports and / DPS at moments. That's where the main focus is going to be. I think King's Row of everything is always going to be that tank versus tank fight, where everything is seeing if your tanks can get their job done more often than not. Obviously, yes, the DPS and supports, they're going to matter just as much, but once you lose that Reinhardt, once you lose somebody who is your main engager, that's going to be the most punishing thing out of everything. So, Mr. Joe God, I am wondering who will be able to bring this out and what type of variations will we see. Though not too much out of Euro, Shanghai Wagons, they may try to kind of skedaddle us a bit.
Yeah, they may. They're hovering over some silly picks right now in spawn. But we see a standard brawl composition coming out from Eurospar. With that, May as well, gonna be looking for these walls to, you know, have a lot of value. Drunk Dino already positioning himself in front of the main choke. I wonder if we're gonna see some similar shenanigans as what we saw from Booga.
I highly doubt it. Looks like it's just for that fire strike. You know, there is nothing that could be like Booga, at least in my opinion.
No, there's only one Booga, and they are not in this matchup this time around. Dominic goes for a quick headshot, doesn't find anything. Going to be swapping over to the Ashe instead. Still a double sniper look coming out from the Shanghai Wagons. Double shield, double sniper. This is very interesting to see on King's Row, especially on attack.
I think it's extremely interesting because it's almost like a big boulder. They have to break down that wall. But look how well it's doing, forcing them into the small corridor.
Yeah, it's actually surprisingly finding a lot of value here. Picks coming in for each side, but crucially, Eurospar's Drunk Dino is down, and with May falling as well, the Shanghai Wagons are pushing forward with this double shield comp very efficiently and very well. They're disassembling this brawl piece by piece.
See, that's a moment where I just want to point out team coordination, being able to work together. They walk in, Frost saves the Zenyatta Noya from dying, which was absolutely phenomenal. Though it wasn't too big, it just means that they are in sync and listening to each other, then reacting on it. Though we are going to be seeing a contest here, it's not going to be one anymore. The window stops them from pushing in. There's just so much poke. How are you forcing them to play your game?
Right? This is absolutely amazing right now. The classic brawl composition being outdone by this double shield on attack, no less. Shanghai Wagons are certainly throwing a curveball to Eurospar, and they have swung and so far struck out.
Yeah, having to play dangerously careful. That dragon split them up. I don't think that window's going to be getting as much room as you hope it will. But finding out Melon, who over-aggressed, I think that's the big point.
I think that is as well, and the Shatter's going to be online. Oh, never mind. It's not as Drunk Dino falls. Faith goes by the wayside as well. And with that, the Shanghai Wagons are going to get this cart rolling through the streets of Kings Row. And look at the time bank they already have. This is, you know, Kings Row has just not been playing out like I thought it would at all today.
I'm loving the trust coming out of the Wagons. I said that, you know, I expected them to fall, especially losing out Melon, because that's your support. That's someone who's consistently healing you, but they trust each other, that they don't back out of these fights. They fight it till the end, and now they have 2 big ultimates coming on 3. When it comes to the streak, it says, you are basically having to play a different game. Normally, you just walk into your opponents. However, that seems to be what's punishing them.
Yeah, exactly, that is, because they're taking so much poke damage on their way there that there's just so little they can do. Look at this, with the Supercharger committed as well, they have to wait until the 11th hour to try and contest this. But the Brawl composition just having such a hard time doing it. The Deadeye from Waldo does land and take out Mouse. They have to convert this into more kills, which they are finally able to do. And, you know, the last thing I want to mention as well is how long it's taken Drunk Dino to build up this, Shatter. They get taken out by the Bob at the last moment, so Eurospar isn't out of the out of this yet, as Faith is going down very low as well on that nade. Pure Irish has to jump in to try and defend them, but they're going down low as well. Frost is just putting a tremendous amount of damage into this team right now. Field comes up at the last moment to keep that self-destruct from doing any damage, but Dino's Shatter lands, and it lands with great effect. Dominic going to be taken out of the fight, but the sound barrier and the Transcendence committed. It's not going to be enough to stymie Drunk Dino, though, as a double kill on that Fire Strike is going to lead to success.
That was absolutely fantastic. Capital F, if I could just put it out, as Euro. They almost lost that in a crucial moment. The Shatter goes through. Frost was reacting to it, but, you know, it doesn't come out as quick as you're hoping so. But the Transcendence, that could have allowed Shanghai Wagons to just play a little bit more forward, get a bit more poke, and shut you out. However, Euro immediately adapting around it, using the payload. A lot of the natural defense is what matters, especially when Shanghai Wagons are not giving you any ground. They are just continuing to play forward. And now look, they're adapting around it. They know the high ground is the most optimal spot to sit. So what do? Use the Maywall to get up, and they're ready to fight you.
Yeah, that they are, but the Dragon Strike gonna come through from Mouse. It's gonna temporarily split the members of the team, but not too much is going to happen as a result of it. The Mayball comes out from Faith as well. They're trying to capture out 1 or 2 members of Shanghai Wagons, but they're able to slip to the side with impunity. Now we see both Amplification Matrices committed. Immortality Field has already been committed, and with that, that's going to be the go signal for Frost to use this Gravitic Flux, but they're not going to find anything from it. They do eventually find a kill on the tail end of it, but Faith is there to freeze them into oblivion as well. But the cart is going to progress right until the end. And I think that this is going to go the way of the Shanghai Wagons, and it does.
It's getting incredibly close. The only big problem is for that last fight was that, you know, they took over the high ground. However, they immediately had to get off of it due to the Dragons, meaning the advantage they were trying to take away from Wagons never was possible. So Wagons, they were able to bring that back, put it into their favor. Now, once again, they are still set up. This is getting into a bigger problem where Europe just don't have much room to get in without wasting that natural cover. No, eating the Dragons, that may help.
There's a tremendous E coming in there from Pure Irish. They're able to take the Immortality Field out as well. Julian falls, and with the Shatter coming in as well. Now it's time for Eurospar to really shine, and that's what they do, as the members of the Shanghai Wagons are sent back to spawn unceremoniously.
Just not looking as strong. This composition is only going to get weaker as the point continues to move out. That payload is so good when it comes down to natural cover. They've also switched to Monkey, meaning they are not going for extra damage. They're just going to split you up, and they're already setting up. Big problem comes. How do you play against it when you're walled off?
Yeah, you can't back out anywhere. There's going to be a kinetic rest used to try and eat some of this damage, but it's only going to be so successful as the stun comes in as well. The picks, though, coming in favor of Shanghai Wagons right now, and with 1:30 on the clock, they're going to be able to push this card so much closer to completion. The D-Mag Diva Pure Irish removed from the fight very quickly, and with 4 members on the cart, this card is really moving.
You know, they always make me have to kind of debate on how the composition is really working or if it's about to fail. Also, Mouse building up another Dragons.
That's
how
ridiculous.
How so much room?
Yeah, that is absolutely ridiculous, and nobody is contesting the card at the moment. Boop comes in right there at the last moment from GCB. They almost take Mouse off the map, but they're just unable to. Sigma, Gravitic Flux coming in as well to try and lift members off the cart, but they're unable to quite get them all. And with the Soundberry committed by GCB as well, they're going to be doing an excellent job keeping their team up, at least until they go down. But the Shanghai Wagons not to be outdone. They're going to complete this map capture as the rest of the members fall in 1, 2, 3.
43 seconds. Absolutely beautiful. You know, I guess the idea just goes with Euro is we pick the dive, we go in, we're 6-man, we hack, we isolate that one person off, they die. Big problem is Shanghai Wagons, their peel, everything that they do is so in sync that you really can't kill anybody. Well, obviously, yes, you can, but moreover, you're not finding out the majority or the major people who need to be dying, especially that Orisa. We said it was going to be a main tank fight, and as Julian and Frost have been showing, it's in the main tank's room to be enabling everybody else. As much as Dunk and Pure Irish have shown their shining moments at times, it's the consistency that matters. They're not being able to kind of help out their own unit to push forward. Nobody's building up the ultimates as fast as, say, Mouse or, say, Noya, who's been consistently getting these defensive ults that have been saving them from these fights. Now when you're going out, they're not going on double shield. They're just going on bunker, meaning they're looking to counter you out. And you decide, well, 6-man, we just go in, we hack. It's a risk, but it's definitely a risk that's willing to run. Though I wonder how confident Euro are. They may decide to go on to something different. It's all going to be about the rotations. I think this is where you play smart rather than you play brawly. You just look to outsmart your opponents. You look to shut down their advantages, and more than anything, you look to get a higher time bank than 4 minutes and 3 seconds. Well, 43 seconds. 43 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great point, you know, and these rotations already starting from Eurospar. I like the way that they're going, and you know, it's interesting because Eurospar is coming out with a dive composition, and Shanghai Wagons, they've got a counter dive composition with this Torb, and the peel coming out from Frost as well. It's going to be tremendous. Nice rotation coming in from Eurospar, but already 30 seconds has been expended from the clock, so they have to make this count.
It's going to be one long rotation after the other. Both of these teams are trying to get a sense of where they're going. However, it does seem Euro a little bit more predictable. They have to play back slowly to build up their resources so they can move out. But Wagons have already taken the position to play against them, and that's not what you want. You want to be catching them off guard. Not in this type of scenario where they're already set up.
Oh! Yeah. Oh, what a headshot coming out from Dominic right there. Dominic dominating in the kill feed right now. And this push from Eurospar is over. And, I mean, look at the time that was burned off the clock by the Shanghai Wagon.
Man, you really want to be able to move forward with this competition, especially because it's so fast. But that opportunity that they had, it just was not there. They walk out. They use everything to jump onto the Torbjorn, but Julian Frost, they were already set up. Noya was there with the Discord Orb. They're putting in so much damage. Now you want to try and beat them at their own game, especially with this Sombra. Your whole economy is now busted. They have the advantage. This is where you're going to be more relying on the slowness of the comp.
Yeah, exactly. And the slowness of the comp is really, you know, crucial here, right? You want to make the team spend so much of their resources coming up to the point that they don't have anything left when they get to that crucial moment. Waldo is able to take Mouse out of the fight, so without that Molten Core online, there's not as much staying power as there was before. Nice headshot coming in as well, or rather the Dynamite taking Julian out of the fight. And with that, Eurospar has found an opportunity to try and capture this point. I think they're going to get it with little to no contest coming out from the Shanghai Wagon.
I guess the window just has no use when you just have a little bit more shielding. But Faith is now going to be the little passive hero that comes out. The hacks are going to be absolutely phenomenal when it comes down to shutting out Wagon. They're not double shield, so once that Orisa goes down, or once that D.Va cannot eat up a considerable amount of damage, it starts to weaken their compositions considerably. Especially with this EMP, call this a free team fight win, I'd say.
Yeah, the EMP catches out 4 members, but crucially Noya, she was able to avoid it and pop that Transcendence to keep their team alive. And look at that. They don't get any kills off it based off of that. That was incredible. Now, Shanghai Wagons, once again, looking to keep this cart moving, or stopping it from moving under Eurospar's control. Tremendously well done.
An absolute beautiful defense as they played against Euro's own win condition. The Transcendence, that's always what you're looking to shut down the Zenyatta, but being a little too close to move forward, don't anticipate it. Unfortunately, you get shut down because of it. Now, you have to be going up against the back, but though you have the Transcendence, that Bongo does so much.
That Bongo does a tremendous amount of damage, and we're seeing it work out in space, especially when it's combined. Never mind, the Amplification Matrix coming in from Eurostar to try and counteract some of this damage, but it's just unsuccessful. There is one pick that comes out on to Julian, and so the main tank from the Shanghai Wagon is going to take a long time to get back to point. I anticipate we're going to see the cart move up to Bookshop, at least, maybe even to the final turn on King's Row.
They have a lot of room now to at least set up, as we see Shanghai Wagons. They're pushing back. They're waiting to be a group once more so they can take this fight. But this is where Dominic has the Dragons. It's going to be an alt fest for Euro. What do you invest going up against? Especially with the Dragons. It's already popped out.
Oh my gosh, Pure Irish gets a nice kill on Noya right before she's able to get that Transcendence online. And with that, the floodgates open and Waldo is able to get a tremendous amount of value. Where's Waldo? In the kill feed.
Beautiful, beautiful usage of ults. They even save on to the Bongo. That's just good understanding. Shanghai Wagons did not have the Transcendence built up just in time, so the Gravitic Flux, once they got that pick, it meant they could move forward, especially since Nut used their own to counteract the Dragons. It just does not feel well. Though the timing is at 2 minutes and 40 seconds, it is only going to get harder as double shield. You now have to walk into your opponent's own LOS. Still though, it's very similar. One shield versus a diva. That's kind of how it's working.
Yeah, it is. And now this supercharger committed by Drunk Dino. Molten Core's in. But the story today is the quad kill from Frost. That's an achievement right there for an Overwatch tank. And that is an achievement going up against such a stellar team as Eurostar.
Man, it's just seeming like once Euro kind of start to find their movement, they slow down almost. They're not finding as much as they're being kind of wanting. And maybe that's just because they're not going to be allowed to take those flank angles, be allowed to set up. And yes, they have the Dragons, but the big problem comes, what are you going to do after that? It's always the next option, and they are not having any room to set up.
No, they certainly aren't. Face throwing a Dragon Strike through the waiting side of the Shanghai Wagons, but it's Pure Irish once again. Gravitic Flux coming in big, but Shanghai Wagons are still mounting a solid defense here, and solid defense here. But the spawn advantage is in their favor, but it's not going to be quite strong enough to stymie what Eurospar is throwing at them. Now a minute and a half for them to finish this point, and if they win this fight, they're going to have a very similar time bank, I think, to the Shanghai Wagons.
Man, they had to use everything, at least building up to that Transcendent. This is not going to be a messy fight. The respawn is in nobody's favor. It's going to matter on who gets the pick. That Dragon's activating the Transcendence. This may hurt or this may benefit.
Yeah, we're going to see the cleanup come in, though, from Eurospar. They may be able to finish this point with a little bit more time, as long as they can keep these stalls from coming in. I don't think that, Melon's going to touch. They spend a little bit too much time trying to stay out of damage and just don't get to the point. But only 15 seconds separating these two teams going into round 3 and 4.
A couple seconds. That's all that matters. 15. This is going to force Shanghai Wagons to actually take the attack first. And unfortunately, they were not, even though they had the ult advantage with the Bongo, which I already shown, they showed this before, it can do so much damage. It was just not in their room, and I think that kind of just goes down to the fact that Euro, they're pushing in a lot more. The double shield, while not necessarily needing to play aggressive, it still has that room to, and Faith Waldo they've been making up for whatever mistakes the team has been making, and it works out to
Hmm.
great degrees. It's making both Dino and Irish look a lot better, especially Irish, who has stepped up their game onto the Sigma. I think they have found their pure counter, forcing the Shanghai Wagons. It's gonna be a close mirror.
Yeah, it's going to be a very close mirror matchup here. And I love the fact that we are on King's Row, and today we've seen just wild and crazy things in our first match, and so many wild and crazy things in this match as well. Even though it has stayed on the rails, we're still seeing these very fascinating compositions come through.
Man, the Widowmaker is by far the most interesting thing to see. I don't really think it's that worth it to be looking for these early picks. You know that they're running out of the same composition, and yet you are continuing to kind of stay on to it. It's a very risky play, but I mean, when it's a minute on the clock, you have to run something. They're waiting out. They're taking their time.
Yeah, they certainly are. They're waiting for the
Wait,
opportune
oh!
moment to start moving.
It was
Oh,
a
we've got a
DC.
DC.
What
That
a
makes
way.
a lot more sense. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. Unfortunate, unlucky. One of the supports going out, but you know, if somebody's gonna have a DC, it's better if it's early on in a round like this. They don't have too much ult charge that they've just lost, so not much really lost at this point, despite the DC.
You make an amazing point, especially because it's around like 22 seconds on the clock, 20, maybe 32.
Mhm.
So, you know, it's already at the halfway point, meaning they have just enough time to come back and reestablish themselves. That's the only part that you're going to regret, is that it wasted a couple seconds on your own time bank,
Yeah.
meaning that you might get held by Euro. But still, I mean, we get a moment to kind of breathe, finally start to take in what's been happening. And this
Yeah.
series has been incredibly close. It's going down to the own individual talent. So when moving, I'm wondering, why is Dominic on the Widow of all things? You know, this is more of a theory crafting type of moment. Not that the Widow
Yeah.
doesn't work, because you get a lot of line of sight. You get a lot of opportunity to sit and scope. But and yes, they have two shields, fundamentally, yes. But they are going to be paying attention to you. They have two snipers.
Yeah.
They're already going to be dueling you. Unless you take down their shields, you're not going to be winning that. Dynamite just has so much value, and Hanzo just melts down shields. What does the Widow add on that you confidently feel? You know, I feel that's the question in the air right now.
You know, to me, the Widow pick is kind of like the Stall Doomfist pick, right? Because, you know, the Stall Doomfist pick, not because like the Stall Doomfist pick just gets the point quickly, but it's because the Stall Doomfist pick enables that one pick potential, right? That insta kill. And Widow has that same propensity, right? And if you can get that early advantage on this map, then that can really snowball into a huge advantage, right? All it takes is for one person to lose concentration for one moment and lose track of where the Widow is for her to make a phenomenal impact in the game. So that's my theory as far as this pick goes. What do you think, user?
I definitely feel that it's a very risky play, because you're putting everything into odds. You're putting everything into a chance, especially when we're going into overtime. Let's say theoretically they cap first point. You're going in the second point. Line of sight is not there anymore. Everything is so compact, close in. You turn a corner, boom, the entire enemy team is there, meaning that the Widow has to immediately switch. So you're not building up ult charge. You're now resetting your own bank, and you have to rely on your own team building things up. While Euro, they're playing what they're playing. They're going to be building up that ult charge continuously, meaning they're not having any big disadvantage. They are playing something secure. They're not giving it up to chance. And this is Shanghai Wagons' own composition that they ran out on first. So to be kind of outplayed in it shows that Euro are now more adapting. They're getting a bit more prepared, and they're already figuring it out, even when they don't have a coach yapping in their ear saying, why are you doing this? You need to be doing that.
Yeah, that's a good point. You know, I think that's such an interesting, you know, you bring up a very salient point, right? And that's that if Shanghai Wagons are able to capture this first point, they kind of are shooting themselves in the foot with a sniper rifle, no less, by choosing the Widowmaker, because they're gonna have to swap off of that pick. I mean, maybe you put them in that window looking down that long first lane, but I don't see her having much value after that. So you are throwing away any potential ult percentage you've built up there. And, Widowmaker's ult, it's not the kind of ult that you want to hold on to as well if you're a DPS player. There's no real reason to stick around with it.
Yeah, the entirety of Widow's ult, as every player knows, is just to get information. But King's Road's not about information. It's not something like Junkertown where you could be anywhere, or similarly,
Right.
if we're going on hybrid, Eichenwald, where you could be positioned at any point. I think this is one of the moments where, the Widow is very much a risk. And as we go back into the map, Juggle God, we're gonna see, does this pay off? They get the swaps, they have 30 seconds, and they need to make something happen, or else they'll just passively get their ult. Though Dominic does now switch over to the Ashe, so at least our fears are no longer there.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh!
And look at this. Dominic coming out with a quick pick onto Drunk Dino. That could open things up in a huge way. DCP falls very shortly after that. And with the main heals gone, Eurospar is looking very, very vulnerable right now. They're going to have to give up at least one tick, probably two. Drunk Dino comes back on the Wrecking Ball for a last moment contest. In fact, they're going to get there before one tick gets on the board. Can Drunk Dino come away with a pick? No, they're unable to, but there's going to be a pick in favor of Waldo now. They're able to take Dominic out of the equation. Both TPS are gone, as a matter of fact. Overtime starting to tick over, but Shanghai Wagon has one tick on the board. Can they get a second? It's looking less and less likely. Eurospar with a phenomenal recontest to keep them at just 36%.
My goodness, that was incredible! And something I really want to point out is the confidence in recontesting into that fight. I've always just said Shanghai Wagons, they know what they're doing, but it just seems that Euro, they're now starting to even up. I mean, the Wrecking Ball touching that point, that it's not uncommon, but for the rest of the team to willingly go in against a window, against a team that's already set up with this shield that's good in coordination. They knew what they had to win. Now it's only a tick. There is a beautiful win condition. There is no draw. There is no possible map 6 in the pool at the moment, because 2 CP is always an option. But
yeah, that's fair.
Euro, they have a lot to do, especially when Dunk got melted once the clock started to click in. To be able to adapt from that, it's beautiful, and it's a great way to stay calm. My question is, it's a complete mirror again. I don't think there will be a DC. That's my hope.
Yep, got my fingers
crossed. Will that
element
of surprise and adrenaline calming down kind of change the way both of these teams look to take this fight?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. Eurospar on the attack now with a little bit more time than the Shanghai Wagons had. Shanghai Wagons gonna go for this high ground positioning, which I really like, or this double shield composition, but they're gonna have to drop the point very, very quickly. It's gonna be up to, I'm not sure who on the Shanghai Wagons side. I feel like a D.Va may have been a little bit better pick instead of the Sigma that Frost is on here, because then the D.Va can at least go down and drop onto the point to keep it occupied. Take a look at these stats as well from Mouse on the Hanzo. Just tremendous value. I mean, we saw them build those ults so quickly, but look at this! Eurospar comes away with a very quick fight win, and they're going to go up 2-1 in this series.
Very unfortunate. The style that they wanted to defend on just does not work in this overtime moment. Orisa, everybody gets melted down, and you're looking to take those angles. You're looking to take the poke. But everybody's on the ground. They were stacked together. You can fundamentally do that. I don't remember this bomb happening.
Really? that was tremendous. Frost hit a 4K right there to turn that fight around. Just a tremendous play from them.
I think I blacked out. It may have been just so good that I just didn't notice.
It just hit you. You were gone for a split second.
I was gone. Oh my goodness, I feel terrible. It's like I'm so focused on kind of the players and how close it's getting that I think my attention is kind of just being broken off real quick. Let's bring up some Waldo stats once again, but this time on Ashe for King's Row. 59% weapon accuracy. That Ashe, so good. It may not be deadly, like consistently deadly, but its utility is there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And the accuracy just tremendous. The scoped critical hits as well, not to be ignored either. And with with 15 elims and 12 of those being final blows, that's tremendous as well because, it's that, you're looking to your DPS to close out the kills, right? That is their
Mhm.
job, and seeing those final blows, that just shows you that's exactly what they did exactly what they needed to do.
And more often than not, they're also hitting those shots. So that's something to feel proud of. However, Juggle God, we can feel proud as all we want, but we're going over to 2CP, one of the scariest map types in the game. Every player fears it. They're even removing it in the Legend Overwatch 2. I hear they speak of, like
Yes,
the
the
Holy Grail.
legend. Exactly. It's legendary right now, but hopefully the legend will come true relatively soon. It looks like we're ready to head into our next map, which is going to be Temple of Anubis. And it may be an unpopular opinion, but this is actually one of my favorite 2CP maps.
Honestly, I think this is one of the more 50-50 2CP maps. Hanamura, I definitely
Hmm.
I always say Volskaya is the fairest. It's the best one where all punishments are
Yeah.
there, yet you can still coordinate it as a team. Hanamura is one where a team with better focus fire will always win no matter what because of stalls and the way that work. But Temple of Anubis is a 50-50, meaning that it changes depending on the team. Anybody can win, even the weaker, debatably, because it gives its room to poke, it gives its room to ball. There's very good stalls on both sides. However, if you lose first point fight, teams don't often contest in it. Going off to
Yeah.
that 4-3, this could be a full hold. This could not. I think we're definitely looking at a lot of hypotheticals, especially with compositions. But as these teams have been running, it's almost perfect that it's both of these teams on this map. On attack, you run that double bubble, you run that dive. It has a lot of room. While on defense, you can run that double shield, you can run that wrecking ball to kind of counteract and play. I definitely feel, Juggle God, this is the most undecisive map that we're going to be looking at. I think it's very much going to be
Yeah.
going down to the DPS this time around. It's always, especially, I want to give some love to the main supports. Their job is going to be hand in hand with these DPSs, as their ultimates are the most important right now. You can throw those dragons, you can throw those bongos, but what's it going to do against a sound barrier, against a rally that switches the pace of this fight?
Yeah, that's such a good point. These support ultimates can be absolutely game changing, right? They can be. We talked about the clutch factor, right? And these support ults, they are the clutch factor in these compositions right here. We got a double shield coming out once again from Eurospar, but the Shanghai Wagons looking to make a dive into this point.
It's not too out of the ordinary, especially with this 6-man. They're looking to highly rush this. The only thing they have to worry about is this poke, but they have the resources and ability to play against it. Focus fire. That's all that's going to matter on this first point. We are seeing a beautiful rotation, though, coming out of Euro. My question is, Shanghai Wagons, do you have the confidence to push into them? And that's yeah.
Yes, they do. They are going in very quickly, but Waldo and Pure Iris have combined for a couple of big picks. Frost is going to be demegged and stunned as well. They're not going to be long for this world as Pure Irish finds them as well. Face dropping down and dropping an arrow into the waiting body of Mouse as well. That's going to be a nice defensive hold for Eurospar.
Sombra has an opportunity to hack people, but it's just not as viable. This map is so closed in, especially with the Ashe on the high ground, uncontested. There may not be a damage boost or a Discord orb, but that damage is consistent, so meaning you are not going to be able to do as much. They are going to have enough time to reset, get back into the spots that they were before. Shanghai Wagons, they're basically running into a very dangerous game. I think they need to be going after these DPSs. The tanks are a distraction. They want you to shoot them. They want to absorb up all the damage to build up ultimates.
Yeah, and look at that. They do dive right into the very vulnerable backline. But Julian loses about half of their health on that dive. And both DPS are very, very low now for the Shanghai Wagons. Both supports have been removed from the fight as well, and that means it's just cleanup time for the rest of Eurospar.
That was an amazing push, but the problem is, you died. That's not something that you want.
Yeah.
Your main, I already talked about it. Main support is absolutely necessary when it comes down to these picks, and losing your own speed boost / small pocket of healing that early into the push, it caused a side effect. And well, now you're having a tiny bit of a stagger, meaning it's going to be its own issue of time and resources. Euro, they are adapting around this perfectly. But now this is where they have to give a little bit more respect. They have to start playing a bit more around as Wagons have shown their willingness to play around it.
Yeah, they certainly have. They're gonna do another tight rotation, this time to the high ground. And while Shanghai Wagons hasn't been able to convert this into a fight win yet, they have done a phenomenal job with their rotations. They've made opportunities for themselves. They just haven't been able to quite seal the deal and capitalize on them. We're gonna see one member, presumably Dominic, getting chased around by Faith on that Hanzo. Fortunately, they're able to keep their head on their shoulders this time around. Dynamite thrown in from Waldo's gonna result in a kill. And, you know, there's a great subreddit for that. It's called Watch Float Sombra Die. A nice self-destruct comes in, though, from Frost, and that's gonna be another opportunity for the Shanghai Wagons to put a stop to this defense from Eurospar. They're gonna start rotating the point now and putting pressure on it. We've got an amplification matrix popped on the high ground as well by Nut. They're going to try and find some value with it. Faith is going to get a pick on the Frost as well. So this defense isn't over for Eurospar just yet. They're still going in and trying to hold this, but I think it's going to be over at this point.
The interesting part of all that, even, I think they had an amazing engagement. They did absolutely think perfectly. That was lost because of small mistakes out of Hero. The biggest one being the coach gun fail. If that Ash had lived, Bob, everything would have been able to be built up. They would have been able to move out, but the Brigitte falling was what cost them. Not having that rally and not having that long-term sustain is what kills you. This is all up to Mouse, though. EMP so strong, but the rally is there. Can they shut you down? We're gonna have to see, because questions are in the air. It's the timeline. Which one are we in?
Yes, we're just about to find out. Mouse trying desperately to decide where to throw this EMP. They find the backline right as the rally is committed as well. Eurospar in a very tough position. Nut goes down. Waldo goes down. Shanghai Wagons on the prowl. They are pushing hard and fast. Julian getting ready to pop this Primal Rage as well when the time is right, when they go down low enough to support that, but they get killed. Eurospar is going to hold on. I feel like that was a little bit of a misplay coming out from the Shanghai Wagons right there. They had the opportunity, but they let it go away.
It was a big moment of like overconfidence. That's the best way I want to put it. Where they saw the support line out, they knew they landed that EMP, and the confidence is, we take them out, we win this fight, and they even got a little bit more out of it than they wanted. The issue was that Dunk was there with the bongo in a safe spot, and GCB uses the rally beforehand, manages to pump it out, so they're continuously building on that armor, and they're fighting you. Meaning that fight was lost the moment you decided, you know, let's dive on the person who already has the rally up. It's an unfortunate fact, and it goes down to milliseconds of coordination, but it matters in the long term. Now they have to come back in with a different plan, and it's incredibly hard to be able to move in without a big engagement.
Yeah, and we are going to see that a big engagement come in the form of a coalescence. Pure Iris, though, is going to equalize things in the kill feed. Waldo now shooting through this amplification matrix is going to do a lot of work. The Primaling Winston, though, of Julian is trying to keep them from taking advantage of that window, and they're doing it fairly successfully as well. Look at this. We've got a couple of picks in favor of Eurospar, but the picks are coming in as well for the Shanghai Wagons, and they have the spawn advantage here, or rather Eurospar does. So Shanghai Wagon's going to have a hard time maintaining presence, especially now that, once again, Frost is out of mech and out of the fight.
I think it's incredible that Mouse builds up that EMP very fast. That's what the fight felt like it was meant to do, rather than purely win it out. EMP is very much your biggest opportunity to win. Euro, though, as they did a good job of contesting. They waited, they came back in. Dunk, for some reason, still alive. It's absolutely phenomenal to see but Mouse is already in position. Caught out! This may cost them!
Oh, it might. They're going to have to use that EMP. No, they're just going to escape and try again. They were in such a beautiful position to engage there, but Nut just happened to walk around the corner and discover them. Dominic now lurking in the back, lurking in the side, looking for an opportunity to throw out this pulse bomb. If they can find Nut, that could be very beneficial to them, because if they can take out that immortality, things could be huge. EMP comes in, but it's only going to catch GCB, so no rally on the board. Drunk Dino pops the supercharger, but they die shortly after that. This is a great opportunity for Shanghai Wagons to come in with this. Oh, but with Noya going down and Melon falling too, it's all but over. Eurospar's gonna have the hold. Drunk Dino swaps over to the Winston to get the point quickly, but With Shanghai Wagons down 3 members, it's all but over for them. Eurospar is going to be able to hold on. Second point of Temple of Anubis.
It's just highly unfortunate EMP did not get who they were looking for.
Yeah.
As much as it's really good to get that main support, we talked about it from before and how GCP is so valuable right now. It's not meant to be that focus for it. That's just a hack. You know, EMP is meant for an entire team. You're looking to get the majority of your opponents. And I guess the tension got to them from being found out, not being allowed to set up in the petition. Falling, big issues are now going to more show themselves because Shanghai Wagons not only have to hold first point, which is already incredibly difficult, going up against Euro, who managed to have a pretty solid defense, but now you have to stop a tick from being captured onto the second point. I think that's easier said than done. It's a draw opportunity. You have a moment to save yourself, but you have to land these EMPs if you're wanting to reliably use the Sombra. If you're not getting them, then the Sombra has no usage in these fights. The hack is good, but they're together. They're bunkered. They are feeling fine. They're not really stressing about much. Shanghai Wagons, it seems that they want to no longer rely on something like the EMP, rather their own individual talent. And that's what the Wrecking Ball composition has felt. It's always shined on. They're going to have a lot of movements. This is going to punish the double shield. I definitely feel in that moment. So slow rotations, especially these little small squishies that are going to be trying to just make their way around. I am going, once again, to be paying attention to GCB and Noya. I feel they are going to have the most universal help when it comes to these fights. But either way, this is Shanghai Wagons' last chance to save themselves when it comes down to the series. We'll have to see if they can continue to bring it home.
Yes, we will. It's going to be a close call, that's for sure. Shanghai Wagons' backs are against the wall right now. And look at this. Already, Shanghai Dragons coming out with a pick on the nut. That is tremendous. Eurospar is in a very difficult spot. They're just going to have to wait for the respawn.
You know, it's just not what you're looking for right now. I definitely feel that's a little bit of a oopsie-whoopsie type of moment, as they have to put all their resources into taking these rotations, taking the time to set up. But Shanghai Wagons, dynamite, slam, the volleys, it's just so much that it can almost be oppressive.
Right. Yeah, it certainly can be. And this oppressive force coming in heavily. Shanghai Wagons, though, once again, get a pick on to Eurospar. Nut has to commit the Immortality Field as well, but it's not going to be there to save Drunk Dino. And Shanghai Wagons coming out with another beautiful defense here with this Wrecking Ball Sigma composition.
They just fall into their trap, Juggle. That's just not what you're really hoping for as Euro. The main reason you walk out into, you know, the tight angle is because there's not much that your opponents can do. They have to poke in. They have to look at you more than anything, and they have to try and shut you down. However, they don't care. Shanghai Wagons, they're just going to start walking into you, which inherently denies the fact that, you know, well, we want them to look at us. We want them to be called out. They are just going to abuse that fundamental ability by the Wrecking Ball slamming in, Mouse being able to get these picks. They built up a considerable amount of ult charge, and look at this. Already the engagement.
Yeah, I love that engagement from Frost, hitting them as they're trying to go through that rotation, getting a little bit more ult charge, doing a little bit more damage, making this rotation take a little bit longer. Eurospar, they only have this amplification matrix online and ready to go, but they're going to have to get through not only the minefield of Frost, but also the transcendence of Melon. Here we go. We've got the commitment now of that amplification matrix. Frost goes in with the mines. Are they going to get out with their lives? They go down dangerously low. I feel like that pile driver maybe wasn't the best idea, as now Eurospar has an opportunity to push onto this point and start to take it. Without that main tank there to do a lot of damage, things are looking rough for them. Bob committed as well right before Mouse goes down, but I don't think it's going to be enough to deal with what Eurospar has on point.
Look at this. They found the opportunity, and now they take it. That's exactly what you need. The moment your enemy shows a weakness, you need to shut them down. Shanghai Wagons, their competition, oddly enough, only gets stronger the farther the map gets in. Euro don't get weaker, but rather it's just the fact that they have a lot of respawns. They have limited flex. It's going to be an ult.
Oh my gosh, and it has already started. Pure Irish slamming several members down, and look at how close they were to victory before anybody even touched from Shanghai Wagon. They got there at the last moment. There's just one member left on point, and that's gonna do it. Eurospar takes the win on Anubis and in the series 3-1.
I gotta say, it just came down to who could sustain on the point. Shanghai Wagons not having a single opportunity to even try. They're going to be losing out in this series. Eurospar did an absolute phenomenal job when it came to punishing their opponents and bringing this back in this series. Remember, they won the first control, then Shanghai Wagons came in, showed their fangs were trying to defeat them.
Yep.
However, just not enough. Still, though, highly impressive, I would say the least. I guess Gibraltar is just one of those maps where they feel very confident on. They're used to playing it.
Yeah, they absolutely are. Let's take a look real quick now at some of the stats for Sigma from Pure Irish, because they did just a tremendous job on the last map. 15 elims, that's a lot for a tank. 8 final blows as well. That's more value than you could ask for in an off tank.
I gotta say, what is this bias, by the way? We just had Pure Irish only. That's a lie. That's a lie. I'm joking. But Pure Irish did an absolutely phenomenal job. And something that we kind of forgot to mention throughout the broadcast was the fact that, Eurospar needed to win to stay in the playoff space. Or, maybe like second place or roughly, because playoffs are very much around the corner and there's only so much that they can do. I definitely feel, Pure Irish did an absolutely phenomenal job in Juggle. That was a very fun game to see the least.
Yes.
But, man, playoffs are now coming.
Playoffs are coming. That is absolutely right. We are going to be out of the group stages here. So very excited to see what's going to come next for a lot of these teams. Can't wait to see how the bracket's going to be constructed, who's going to be facing who in the first rounds of the playoffs. But I got to tell you, some great Overwatch we got to see today. We got to see, I feel like we got the full range of Overwatch experiences today, right? From memes to dreams, right? We have seen it all.
I definitely have to agree to that sentiment. So we hope that you enjoyed everything. I'm not going to lie to you. Don't know exactly what's purely going to be happening. Because, we have a special video for you to play.
Yes.
For you. We have something very amazing. We have something to show you as we have the playoff announcement. So stay tuned in because we are going to be showing you that in a split second.
Guys, come on. I've been looking for this chip for the past 10 minutes and I found it in like this little encrypted box. Not cool. I don't know who's storing the food right here, right now. Seriously, not cool. What? What playoffs? What did... Oh. Are we rolling right now? Crap. Hello there, OWEX. My name is Daniel Magne, Managing Director of VHE. Come here today for a very, very special occasion, as we are now approaching the very well expected playoffs to our OWEX Season 1. Now, the way we're going to do this is I'm going to pull out these 2 amazing bowls. We kind of went overboard with bowl number 1 on budget, and I have to ask my mom for bowl number 2. But we have made some crazy good soup into bowl 2. So comparison, almost the same. So, the way this is going to work out is that I'm going to pull out different teams from each bowl. The pairs that I drop out are going to be the matches who will face each other into the playoffs coming after the week of the 24th. Now, with nothing else to delay us, let us begin. And for our first match of the playoffs, we have the first place from Central Europe versus the second place from the Nordic region. Our second match for the playoffs is going to be between the first place from the Nordic teams against the second place from Iberia. Now for our third match we have second place from Central Europe against a chip. Who's been using ball one to eat food? I mean, come on, I'm trying to now pick the teams for the playoffs and I found food. Do you think this is professional, huh? Do you feel... Ooh, oh crap. What is this? Buffalo Ranch? This is really good. Really good. I mean, I was upset, but that really put me in a good mood. That was really good. My bad. Against the first place from the Atlantic. And for the last match of the playoffs, we have the second place from the Atlantic against the first place from Iberia. And with this, we have all our matches and the teams who are going to be participating into the OWEX playoffs. Now, I want to congratulate and wish a lot of luck to all of these amazing teams. I want to thank all of you on behalf of the OWEX team, on behalf of EHE for your participation and for the overall experience you have given us this past few weeks. It has been truly amazing. And again, I cannot thank you enough for all of this. I can't wait to see all the things and all the amazing experiences that I'm pretty sure are going to happen on following up with the rest of the OWEX tournament. And again, a huge thanks to all of you. I will pass around now to the graph that will show the next standings. And without further ado, thank you very much for your attention, and I'll be seeing you in the next one. So, did we actually use all the budget for bowl one? Right. Yeah, because we don't have budget for food. I'm sorry. I ate my chip at the beginning of the, this. I think I ate somebody else's chip. We don't. Okay, good to know.
Welcome back for the final time. The shrug of destiny, as you saw at the end with that frame. We are now here. You've got to see the drafts and a little bit of confusion for if you don't know. A little bit more of an explanation is basically the first and second of different regions are going to be going up against each other, as you saw from Iberia to Nordic, Central. Different teams are going up against each other, and I would highly recommend it. If you want to see who exactly is, I'd say the Discord, because it's still a bit more unclear to us as we're waiting for the Nordic games to kind of be finalized, Juggle.
Yeah, we certainly are. We do have the results from a couple of the regions, but don't know Nordic yet. Iberia, first place is going to be Unplugged. Second place, Simpanas Noganas. In Central, first place, Munich Esports. Second place, Jumbo Schreiner. Atlantic, first place, SIUUUU. Second place, we don't know yet. It's either going to be Eurospar or Altera Igni. In Nordic, we have no idea about. But we do have that information for you right now. So, hope you caught that, because I am not repeating it again.
I definitely agree. I'd highly recommend, once again, joining the Discord, checking out the Twitter. You'll get more information and key details about which teams are going up against each other. But Juggle, this is truly the end for us, at least for today.
Well, thank you all so much for tuning in. If you've enjoyed our cast, be sure to follow myself and User Intel on Twitter. Be sure to follow all the socials as well for Elo Hell and Elo Hell EU. Want to give a quick thank you to all the production staff behind the scenes. We've got Joey in the producer booth, Plushcap, Jari, Cyper, and Donak, all helping behind the scenes to make this happen. So while you may only see our beautiful faces, there are so many others behind the scenes making this work for you. So thank you so much to everybody working tirelessly to bring you this Overwatch European Expanse action. That's going to do it for us here. Any final words from you, Username Intel?
Just want to thank you all for staying tuned, typing in chat, subbing, hitting those hearts, hitting those bells so you stay notified. It means the absolute world. Nonetheless, we'll see you next time.